Hi all, welcome to BCCA. This is MANIDEEP, your faculty for direct and indirect taxes at final level. Now, look at the point, sir. This particular video, the MCQs which I have been discussed here are from the MCQ booklet released by ICMAI Institute and the MCQs which were there in the institute material at every chapter end, past examination questions, model question papers, MTPs are there, right? Those questions, all together, there were more than 350 MCQs has been discussed. Each and every MCQ has been discussed, explained properly. Okay? Now, your question, where do you find this material? This MCQs material. In the description, you'll find a Telegram channel link. Go to the Telegram channel. There, you'll find the pinned messages. Okay, there may be 4 or 5 pinned messages. Click on them. You will find out the CMA final IDT MCQs material as well, that you can download there and can refer it. Okay, I am sharing this file only where I have wrote answers, corrections. That file only I am sharing with you. Please go ahead. Okay, then coming to other preparation, I already given a strategy video. Refer to that. If you don't refer that also, Superthon, I have recorded an IDT Superthon, sir, which was made after so much of careful analysis. How? Okay, I would say like go and watch it. Okay, there you'll understand like what are the topics to be focused, areas to be focused. So I'm targeting 12 MCQs out of 15, sir. We'll see how much we'll get out of this 350 MCQs. Okay, but video little up to 3 hours is there also. Patiently listen to this video, sir. This is going to give you the benefit which you are expecting. Okay. Thank you all. All the best. Rock your exams. Okay.
So we are starting with the supply chapter MCQs because from the basics and all, there are not much important MCQs. So starting with the supply chapter. See, first MCQ. Goods within the meaning of supply does not include. So goods. Goods means what? Every kind of movable property. It excludes money and securities. So it does not include what? Money and securities. Then items which are out of the purview of supply are provided. Sir, under section 7, if you know, section 7 supply will be discussed in like parts. 7 subsection 1 clause. First will be deciding under the 7 subsection 1. Okay, under 7 subsection 1 again there will be clause A, clause B, clause C and even clause A. Okay, so if all these conditions, if any of these conditions are met, then it can be called as what? Supply. Okay, A, 7 subsection 1 clause A is the default one. If in case of import of services, 7 subsection 1 clause B, where there is no consideration, 7 subsection 1 clause C. Okay, now once here, if the conditions are satisfied, it amounts to supply. Then we'll go to schedule 2 with the help of 7 subsection 1 clause A. So 7 subsection 1A along with schedule 2 will decide whether a supply is supply of good or supply of service. Then finally, we'll go to 7 subsection 2, which is along with schedule 3, where there is a negative list will be there. So if any transaction is mentioned, if any supply is covered there, then it is neither supply of good nor supply of service. So here it is what? Schedule 3 is the right answer. Schedule 3. Okay, so schedule 1 consists of what? Sir, here this 7 subsection 1 clause A, clause B, clause C is there now. Here schedule 1 along with schedule 1 we should read. Schedule 1 is nothing but deemed supplies. Deemed supplies. Transactions which are treated as supply even though there is no consideration. Schedule 2 is like categorizing whether it is like supply of good or supply of service. Supply of good or supply of service. So the balance one is what? Schedule 3 only. Then our associates of Chennai received certain consultancy services from A Incorporation of USA. Sir, A Incorporation of USA. That means supplier. He's what? He's called as the what? Supplier. He's the supplier. Where the supplier is located, sir? The supplier is located outside India. USA. This is what? Supplier. Outside India. Whereas our associates is the recipient. So when from outside India, if you are receiving a service, then what it is? Import of service. From a related person or not a related person? Not a related person. The services received is without any consideration. Thus the same classify as supply. So the transactions which are treated as supply, even though there is no consideration, are mentioned under schedule 1. So what does schedule 1 said? Like import of service, even though there is no consideration, also it amounts to supply. But further, supplier and recipient shall be related. and it should be in the course or furtherance of business. It should be in the course or furtherance of business. Here what happened? They are not related persons. Maybe it is in the course of furtherance of business, but it is not related person. So hence it is not a supply. Then X Limited transferred certain assets forming part of business assets. The same was transferred free of cost without consideration as a part of CSR. What will be this classification? Sir, again, Schedule 1. Okay, sir, here two perspectives are there, sir. One perspective is like Schedule 1 permanent transfer or disposal. Permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC has been availed. Sir, when you purchased goods, you availed ITC. Then on those goods, if you are distributing under CSR activity, then it comes under permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC has been availed. So then it amounts to what? Supply. Then it amounts to supply. Whereas on goods purchase, no ITC has been availed. No ITC. Then subsequent distributing is not a supply. Subsequent distributing, not supply. Understand? So it's all about whether ITC has been availed initially or not. Then while repairing the factory shed, few goods are also supplied along with the labor service. Whether it is what? Works contract. What is called works contract? Works contract means is a contract related to immovable property. Related to what? Immovable property. And it involves what? Supply of both goods and services. Immovable property, both goods and services. Sir, here if you see, there, for repairing factory shed, goods were also supplied along with service. Both are there. Factory shed is what? Immovable property. So it's what? Works contract service. What is the tax rate in case of mixed supply? In case of mixed supply, whichever is having the highest tax rate in the bundle, whichever element is having highest tax rate, that should be applied. So the answer is what? D. Then a person purchases a bundle of toothpaste along with the toothbrush. Toothpaste under this case is liable to GST at 12%. Toothbrush, for instance, is liable to GST at 18%, and it is sold as a single unit for a single price. What will be the tax rate? So now, to identify whether it is a composite supply or mixed supply, we need to identify whether they are naturally bundled or not. Here they are not naturally bundled, sir. Why they are not naturally bundled? Okay, why they are not naturally bundled? Because it's not the common expectation of customer. Every customer, when he buys a toothpaste, he'll not expect toothbrush, or when he is buying a toothbrush, he'll not expect they should be coming as a bundle, and not majority suppliers also doing the same way. Okay, so there are certain tests for finding out whether it is naturally bundled or not, sir. So if those are satisfied, then it amounts to composite supply. Otherwise, mixed supply. So you could see here, sir, in my material also, there's a detailed list given examples. They are also discovered. Okay. Naturally bundled. These are the perception of customer, whether majority of suppliers provide such bundle, single price, how they are advised, elements available separately or not, elements are integral or not. So these things will decide whether it is composite or mixed supply. So it is what? Mixed supply. So which rate? 18% is applicable. Then as per the term works contract. Sir, previously I said works contract means related to what? Immobile property. See, here it is related to what? Mobile property. And both A and B is not applicable because A is not the answer. Then B, look at them. Construction, fabrication, completion, erection, installation of what? Immobile property. Sir, in construction, fabrication, completion, erection, installation, in all these, both goods and services are involved, and they are related to immobile property. So it's about works contract. Then, which of the following are not naturally bundled? Hotel provides short-term accommodation. So there is only one service here, no bundle. Second one, hotel provides accommodation and repairing service of customer watches. So when you go to a hotel, will you expect watch repair and all? No, not naturally bundled. Hotel provides short-term accommodation and coaching. Sir, which hotel will provide coaching? Only if I start hotel, I can provide coaching. So this is also not possible. The only thing is what? Hotel provides short-term accommodation and restaurant. So restaurant is a common thing, so naturally bundled. QRT Limited made certain gifts to employee. Sir, where employer gives any gift to employee, and if such amount is greater than 50,000 in a financial year, okay, then only it is supply. Okay, so this is a proviso to Schedule 1. So what Schedule 1 says means between related persons, without consideration if any goods and services are transferred also, it amounts to supply. Employer and employee are related persons only, but still only aggregately the amount of gifts given in a financial year exceeds 50,000, then it has to be treated as supply. So here what? To A 50, to C 47, to Z 57. Only to Z it has to be treated as supply. So only 3. Transactions falling out of the ambit of supply. Already covered, sir. Schedule 3. Next. Amar Megamart, a store located under GST Karnataka, has come about with a big discount offers at the time of Diwali. In order to attract, it has decided to supply a gift pack containing 6 packets of namkin, 2 packets of almonds, one packet of chocolate, one bottle of fresh juice, and a single basket for a single price. Sir, when all these are supplied under a single price for a single packet, so these are what? These are integral. All these are independent. When they were made as a bundle, this is what? Not naturally bundled, because elements are not integral. They are independent of each other. So it's a mixed supply. So what it is like? Not composite supply, not composite supply, not composite supply. It is a mixed supply. Highest tax rate out of all the items has to be levied on the total bundle. Next. X and Co registered under the normal provisions of IGST Act received a no claim bonus from the insurance. Okay. The amount was allowed as a deduction to the insurance company. What is the treatment of no claim bonus? Sir, let me explain you in my material. So no claim bonus. See, a policyholder pays insurance premium. A policyholder pays insurance premium to the insurance company. Okay, and during a year, this policyholder didn't made any claim. He didn't made any claim. So since he didn't made any claim, the insurance company, while paying the next year premium, second year premium, it has offered some bonus. Even though they call it as bonus, it acts something like a discount. Second year, if you need to pay 30,000, some 10,000 discount, you'll be paying only 10,000. So the insurance company is giving what? No claim bonus. Policyholder is getting 10,000. Next year, you need to pay again 30,000 premium now. So let's just 10 and pay only 20,000. The question is whether the insurance company paying no claim bonus of 10,000 to policyholder is supply. Sir, why such question has been raised? Very simple, sir. If you are not making the claim, making a claim is your right. If you are not making a claim, then it is something restraining to do an act. When any consideration is received for restraining to do an act, that is also called as what? Supply. But here the fundamental thing is, did he restrain himself? No. Because there is no event of even making a claim. So since here there is no event of making a claim, there is no concept of restrainment. Hence, it is not a supply. It is not to be recorded as supply. Value of supply, 50% value of supply, 70% value of supply. But the answer is, it is not to be regarded as supply. Then, Mahesh is employed in a Z Traders, a proprietary concern of Kumar. So Kumar is what? Employer. Kumar is the employer. So with Kumar, who is working? Mahesh is working. So who is employer? Kumar. Mahesh is what? Employee, employer. Now, services provided by Mahesh is employed by Z Traders, a proprietary concern of Kumar having taxable turnover under GST. Now, service provided by Mahesh will be taxable. When it is taxable? When he provides to Kumar, it is not taxable, sir. Employee providing services to employer are covered under negative list. So, whether it is contractual or regular. So, contract basis, not a supply. Regular basis, not a supply. But when he provides them to brother of Kumar, with brother of Kumar, there is no employer and employer relationship. Hence, it is supply. What would be the tax rate in case of composite supply? In case of composite supply, out of the bundle, whichever is having predominant nature is called principal supply. The tax rate applicable on principal supply has to be levied on the total bundle. Then, whether activity of bus building is supply of good or supply of service. Whether the activity of bus building amounts to supply of good or supply of service. See, sir. Clarification on bus building. Where the chassis, sir, when you buy a bus, except the school buses, if you look at those travels buses and all, when you buy, they'll not come with that full structure and all. The company Tata Motors or Hinduja Group will sell only the chassis. So now they will take the chassis to a bus body builder. Then the bus body will be built by such a person. So it amounts to what? Supply of service. When you buy chassis and take it to bus building, supply of service. Whereas if the chassis is also owned by that bus body builder only, and on that only he has constructed that, he has made that bus body building and all, then it is what? Supply of goods. Supply of goods. So it shall be treated as either supply of good or supply of service. What is the taxable event under GST? When GST triggers, when there is supply. Next, taxability of not manufacturer, not sale, not provision, it is supply. Taxability of supply within the meaning stands for manufacturing of goods covered, provision of services covered, both A and B. Then the right answer is. So supply includes sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, lease, rental, disposal, all those things. See, manufacture and sale. So sale is covered and providing service is also covered. Then what are the different types of supplies covered under the scope of supply? Supply made with consideration, made without consideration. Both are covered. Supplies made with consideration, by default they are covered. Okay, Section 7, subsection 1, clause A. Supply includes sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, lease, rental, disposal carried out by a taxable person for a consideration in relation to goods, services or both in the course or furtherance of business. Then Section 7, subsection 1, clause C, along with Schedule 1, says what? Deemed supplies. Transactions which are treated as supply even though there is no consideration. Then flow of consideration is not a mandatory field. When consideration is not required, in case of imports, okay, in case of imports, Yes, in case of imports also, even though there is no consideration, it could be called as supply. But there are certain additional conditions also. But whereas activities specified under Schedule 1 of CGST Act, this is a specific entry. That's why it is selected. But yes, you can even select it as both also. There is such kind of risk. But understand, imports without consideration, there are other conditions also has to be checked. Activities specified under Schedule 1 even covers imports, right? That's why the correct answer would be B. Can an activity be considered as supply even not made in the course or furtherance of business? Yes. What 7 subsection 1 clause B says? Import of service for a consideration amounts to supply even though there is no consideration. So no consideration, still it could, not in the course or furtherance of business, still it could be called as supply. Then Dhoni, a registered person from Mumbai, received architectural services from one of its associates, UAE, for his personal purpose. The same was worth 5,000. Does the import of service qualify as supply? Sir, understand, Dhoni is the recipient. Okay, who is the supplier, sir? From one of its associates in UAE. The one in UAE is the service. It provided what? Architectural service. Okay, whether it is for business purpose or personal purpose, sir. Architectural service for personal purpose. Whether there is consideration or not, yes, $5,000 has been paid as consideration. Import of service for a consideration, but not in the course or furtherance of business. It still amounts to for a consideration, sir. Sir, actually, a registered person of Mumbai received certain architectural services from one of its UAE for his personal purpose. The same was worth $5,000. Does the import of service, sir, one of its associates, here understand, one of its what? Associates. That means Dhoni and UAE are what? Related persons. But still, the same was worth $5,000, sir. Sir, understand, there is no consideration actually. But if at all they take a consideration, it worth 5,000. So that means what? Import of service without consideration covered by Schedule 1. Will it amounts to supply? Yes, it amounts to supply only when in the course or furtherance of business and both are related persons. Here both are related persons. But what is missing? In the course or furtherance of business is missing. Then transfer of rights in goods has been considered as supply under Schedule 2. What type of supply it is? Where only right to use is transferred, supply of good. Where ownership is, where only right is transferred, supply of service. Where ownership is transferred, supply of good. Vijay & Co., a registered person, initiates action of winding up his business. Okay, as a result of such incidents, he shall cease to be registered under GST. All the standing as on date, business shall hence be classified as what? Sir, on winding up, she is selling whatever is the stock she is having. Now, that amounts to actually disposal. Okay, since on purchase ITC might have been availed now. So now on disposal, for whatever the value they may sell, that amounts to disposal. Disposal is covered under the definition of supply, hence it is supply of goods only. Then, which among the following is included in Schedule 2? Transfer of title in goods, supply of goods covered. Renting of immobile property, supply of service covered. Temporary transfer or permitting usage of intellectual property covered. Actionable claim form part of definition of goods, since the goods are considered as supply. Actionable claim hence falls under the concept of supply, provided if it is specified actionable claims. Sir, actionable claims are excluded from supply. Okay, if they are, actionable claims are covered by negative list. But if they are specified actionable claims, what are called specified actionable claims? Betting, gambling, lottery, online money gaming. So these things, those are supply only. Other than those, other actionable claims now, bills of exchange, checks, promissory notes, those. So those are not supply. So here, actionable claim, part of definition of goods, since goods are considered as supply. Actionable claim hence fall under the concept of supply, provided if it is specified actionable claim. Since it is specified actionable claim, it is what? Supply. Then, Schedule 3 does not include. Sir, what is the list of Schedule 3? We have a code there also. Flames. Means what? Funeral, burial, crematorium services, sale of land and building, entire consideration after sale, actionable claims other than specified, MPs, MLAs services, employee providing services to employer, Supreme Court, High Court and other court and tribunal services. So functions by burial, funeral, burial covered, MP, MLAs covered, court, tribunal covered. But whereas this transportation of passengers is not covered. Then the government of Sikkim took initiative to develop Khadi village and rural industries in various panchayats and municipalities. The same provision is considered under. Sir, when government started an initiative, there was no good, no service, because there won't be any consideration there. If there is no consideration, it should be covered by Schedule 1. Since it is not mentioned in Schedule 1, it is not a supply. Whether repairing the factory shed, few goods were also supplied along with labor service. Works contract, repeated one only, sir. X Limited manufactures the jeans on order of ABC. After manufacturing, the same delivered to ABC Private Limited by incurring transport charges and insurance. Sir, here, not only sells the jeans, transports them and even provide insurance. So 3 are there. Sale of good, transportation, insurance. So all the three supplied together, which are in conjunction with each other, which is a normal expectancy, naturally bundled, hence it is what? Composite supply. Which of the following is not a composite supply? Goods are packed and transported with insurance. Supply of machinery providing erection and commissioning service. Goods transport agency arranging for loading and unloading facility. None of the above. Sir, goods are packed and transported with insurance. It's a composite supply. 3 are involved. Supply of machine along with erection and commission. 3 are involved. GTA arranging loading and unloading. Okay, GTA just transport, but here loading and unloading. So bundle is there. All these 3 are common only, naturally bundled only. So that's why it is what? None of the above. Or received a gift from student on the occasion of passing CMA final exams. Let's say I have received a gift from one of my student since he got in highest marks in indirect taxes. The packet contain food, sweets, chocolates, cakes, dry fruits, aerated drink, fruit juice. What type of supply it is? Here only you will do mistake, because lot many examples you see they were like a packet consisting of these dry fruit, sweets and all. Our mind automatically says like mixed supply, but here there is no sale at all. He is giving me like as a gift here, no consideration at all. Hence it is not a supply. Raja purchased a packet of snacks, purchased, consisting sweets, chocolates, dry fruits and aerated drinks. However, at the time of payment, the invoice specifies. Sir, understand, you went to DMart. You purchased sweets, chocolates, dry fruits, aerated drinks, everything you purchased. However, at the time of payment, the invoice specifies all the items separately. Tax also charged separately. Then where is bundling? So only if they are bundled, mixed supply. Here they were sold separately only. Separate value, separate tax rate. So that it's not a composite supply or mixed supply. It is a normal supply. The term used in the course or furtherance of business means it should be directly correlated to output supply. No. It is planned to use in the course of business. No. It is used or intended to be used for the purpose of business. Already in use or intended to be used for the purpose of business. For supply chapter actually we have made little elaborate. So I'll be going much more quicker from this chapter onwards. See, first one MCQs. Interstate supply. What tax? IGST. What is the threshold limit of turnover in the preceding financial year for opting to pay tax under composition scheme other than special category states, assuming it is under 10 subsection 1. Normal state 1.5 crores including Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Assam. Special category states 75 lakhs. Here other than, so that's why 1.5 crore. What is the rate applicable under CGST to a registered person being manufacturer opting to pay tax under composition scheme? 0.5% and 0.5%. Sir, there is a quite chance like taking it as 1% as well, because 0.5 plus 0.5 we can take it together, but institute given this answer only. Okay. But I think because in the recent side answers and all I have seen, if at all these kind of confusions are there, they are giving both the answers as correct. So if that is the question, they'll give B and C also as correct only. So don't worry much about that. Ram, a trader, has opted to pay composition scheme under GST. Determine the rate of total GST payable by him. So trader, 0.5% CGST, 0.5% SGST. Can a registered person under composition scheme can claim ITC? No, under composition scheme ITC is not available. What happens if the turnover of a registered person opting to pay tax under composition scheme crosses the threshold? Once he crosses the threshold, he'll become ineligible for composition scheme. Immediately, sir. It's not like after the end of the quarter or for next financial year. Immediately. The day when his turnover exceeds threshold, that day only. So he'll cease remain under composition scheme with immediate effect. Aggregate turnover excludes GST and all the other related GST, CGST, SGST, IGST, and then inward supplies on which tax is payable under RCM. Third one, where the service is by way of offering loan and advance and the consideration is in the form of interest or discount, that is an exempted, shall be excluded from aggregate turnover. So here inward supplies on which tax is payable under RCM. Excess provide information for the month of January. We need to calculate what? Aggregate turnover. So outward supply 8 lakhs you should add. Exempted supply 5 lakhs you should add. Turnover of export goods you should add 23. But this is a payment made. It's a purchase. Inward supply. That also to GTA. That means RCM. So need not to be added. The person was operating in regular scheme. Now he wants to opt for composition scheme. What form he need to file in order to to provide details of input tax rate in respect of ITC. Sir, now when he is converting from regular to composition scheme, he need to reverse the ITC which has availed. That would be made through ITC 03. When he is coming from regular to composition to regular, then ITC 01. Okay. Composition to regular na ITC 01. Regular to composition na ITC 03. The person operating under normal scheme but wants to convert in composition scheme. Sir, I said ITC 01 is for what? For availing ITC or for providing the details of goods which were held in the period of composition and now converted to regular. Okay. This CMP 02 is for what? It's the permission to convert from normal to regular. Then which form can the person file to withdraw from composition scheme? CMP 04. What document shall a person under composition scheme shall issue? Composition scheme person cannot issue tax invoice. He'll be issuing what? Bill of supply. Calculate the tax paid by Mr. C, a composition dealer who supplied laptops being a trader. Sir, he's a trader, sir. So what would be his cost? Sir, laptop cost 3 lakhs. On this, he is having GST rate of 12%, 36,000. So his cost is what? 3,36,000. On this is margin 40% you should add. And on that, you should calculate 1%. Okay, if your calculator, tell quickly. 3,36,000 into 40%. 47. So, no, it won't be. 3,36,000 into 40%. It would be more than that. Now tell the total of these two. 4,70,400 into 1%. Then it would be 4,704 only. If the showcase notice under CMP 05 has been issued, then by when the taxpayer submit his reply, within 15 days he should submit his reply. So what is showcase notice under CMP 05? It will be issued when the person opted for section 10 is ineligible or violated any of the provisions. Service provider other than section 10 of CGST can opt to pay GST under composition scheme. So there are two composition schemes. One is 10 subsection 1, other one is 10 to A. To be under 10 to A, what is the aggregate turnover limit? 50 lakhs. So it should be within 50 lakhs. The GST return form to be filed by a composition dealer supplier is, sir, which return composition scheme person will file? GSTR 4. Sir, that also not quarterly or no? Sir, this needs to be corrected, sir. It's not quarterly anymore. It is what? Annually. It is what? Annually. Okay, and the due date also there is an amendment, sir. So that's why I'm writing 30th June of succeeding financial year. Okay, previously it used to be 30th April. So please remember this amendment also. 30th June of succeeding financial year. GSTR 4 has to be filed annually. Then the person was operating under normal scheme, but now wants to convert into composition scheme. Which form? CMP 02, repeated only. What are the supplies on which RCM would apply? Which were covered under 9 subsection 3? Okay, as of now 9 subsection 3. As of now, 9.4 has been deferred, sir. No, actually, 9.4 also not deferred. Notified categories of goods and services are both under 9.3 and even notified under 9.4. Okay. Inward supply of goods services both from an unregistered dealer. Actually, the correct answer would be both, sir. Because in December 19 time, it was not amended. But current situation is what? It was amended. So the correct answer would be what? Both A and B only. This is wrong answer. Then, which of the following persons can opt for composition scheme? The person making any supply of goods which are not leviable to tax. Sir, for ineligibility of composition scheme, we have a code called SINS. What does it mean? Stock, he's having stock which is purchased from unregistered person, ineligible. If he is making interstate supplies, ineligible. N for non-taxable supplies, ineligible. So first one is what? Non-taxable supply. Person making outward supply, interstate, ineligible. Then through e-commerce operator. Here E nothing but e-commerce operator. Stock, S for I for interstate supplies, N for NRTP, notified goods, notified manufacturer, tobacco, ice cream, pan masala, those things. Then non-taxable supplies. Then C for casual taxable person, E for e-commerce operator. So person providing restaurant alone is eligible. What is the threshold for opting to pay tax under composition scheme for special category states? 75 lakhs. What is the tax rate applicable for a hoteler? For a hoteler opting to pay tax under composition scheme. Sir, here hotel, it's not restaurant. It's like lodge kind of providing accommodation. That's why they said like not eligible. Okay, but currently they can come under 10 subsection 2A. They can come under 10 subsection 2A, but not under 10 subsection 1. Because here hotelier means what? They're providing accommodation. It's not restaurant. Can composition scheme be availed if the registered person affects interstate supply? No, interstate supply is not ineligible. Can registered person opting for composition scheme collect tax on his outward supply? No, he cannot collect tax from his outward supply. That's why he'll be issuing bill of supply. Can registered person opt for composition scheme only one out of his 3 business verticals? No. Composition scheme is pan-linked. Either all of them under the composition scheme or all of them will become ineligible. No. Can a person paying tax under composition scheme make supplies goods to SEZ located in the same state? No. Sir, SEZ located in the same state also, still it is an interstate transaction. So since he is making interstate supplies, he will become ineligible. Levy of GST on priority sector lending certificate is under. Sir, if you remember RCM under 9 subsection 3, priority sector lending certificates sold by one bank to another bank is covered under RCM. So this is like we have a code, sir, 9 subsection 3 goods, BTS couple, BD leaves, tobacco, silk yarn, cotton, cashew nuts. Okay, U for used vehicles, P for priority sector lending certificates, L for lottery ticket, and E for their edible oil. And here also there's an amendment, I said, sir. Metal scrap has been added. Metal scrap has been added. Where metal scrap is sold by an unregistered person to registered person, RCM. Registered person to registered person, not TDS is applicable. In both the places, it is an amendment. Ajay purchased goods from Chetan, a composition dealer worth 1 lakh. Since Chetan was trader, so he was supposed to pay only 1% of his turnover as his tax. The item so purchased was otherwise taxable at 12%. What is the amount of credit which Ajay is eligible to take? Sir, Ajay purchased from whom? Composition dealer. When you buy goods from composition dealer, you will not get any ITC. So it's what? Not eligible to claim credit. Which of the following can opt for composition scheme? Registered person whose aggregate turnover in the financial year, he is where, sir? In the state of Delhi. Aggregate turnover within 75 lakhs. Okay. So, but actually for Delhi, what is the threshold? 1.5 crores. Delhi is not a special category state. Registered person whose aggregate turnover within 7 did not exceed 75. If it did not exceed 75, did not exceed even 1.5 also. Registered person whose aggregate turnover did not exceed 1.5. A person engaged in manufacturing of pan masala, tobacco, manufacturing of tobacco and substitutes. Notified goods these are. If a person is into notified goods manufacturing, ineligible. Then a person engaged in manufacture of ice cream, other edible oils, whether or not containing cocoa. So this is also a notified good, ineligible. A person exclusively in providing restaurant. So restaurant it is eligible only. A person engaged in supply of medicines, nowhere said like ineligible. He is a trader, restaurants. Whereas first two cases within the threshold. So 1, 2, 5, 6. B is the correct answer. What is the time limit to file intimation for withdrawal? If you want to withdraw from composition scheme, what is the time limit? Okay, who are filing composition scheme during the financial year crosses the turnover of 150. Sir. On a day, your turnover exceeded 150 lakhs. From that day, you ceases to be under composition scheme. So you need to file a formal withdrawal form also. By within how many days? Within 7 days from crossing the limit. So this is about what? Composition scheme. Starting with exemptions chapter. Sir, exemptions chapters are covered under section 11. So under section 11, the power to give exemptions has been given. So under section 11 subsection 1, 11 subsection 2. 11 subsection 1 na general exemptions. 11 subsection 2 na special exemptions. 11 subsection 1 means which were issued by a general exemption notification. Whereas 11 subsection 2 na they are issued by way of special order. General exemption which is applicable for in general. Special exemptions or special order issued na 11 subsection 2, those are of exceptional nature, where any disaster happened, where any natural calamities are there. In such cases, to provide relief to the public within that area, they may be giving exemptions under 11 subsection 2. So under level 1 of the GST Act and IGST Act, na corresponding section is what? 6 subsection 1. Whereas special order means 11 subsection 2 and 6 subsection 2. Here it is like general exemption. Services by way of a hotel, inn, guest house, club or campsite are not exempted for residential or lodging purposes irrespective of tariff value of unit of a accommodation. Sir, previously there used to be exemption where the value is within 1000. But now no such exemption, it has been withdrawn that and inserted an additional point which is applicable from this June 2025 only. The amendment is like hostel PG accommodation is exempt. It's not only hostel or PG, sir. It could be even hotel or guest house also. It could be even hotel or guest house also, no problem. But the stay, if the stay is what? 90 days or more and the monthly charge per person does not exceed 20,000. Monthly charge does not exceed how much? 20,000. If this is made, then, okay, if this is the case, then what? GST is exempted. Per day is not criteria now. Per month is the criteria. But usually in hotels, guest houses, per month is not applicable now. That's why I am saying like hostel and PG, up to 20,000, it is exempted only. That is the current provision. This exemption is applicable from 15th July. And also retrospective effect it has. If these conditions are not met, GST is payable at 12%. One of the following is exempted from India. Any business exhibition in India, none of the above. Where a business exhibition is held outside India, then exempted. So this is the correct answer. GST is exempt on service by way of organizing business exhibition held outside India. Exemption can be claimed at adjudication stage, if not claimed at investigation stage. I mean during the process of assessment, where the assessing officer is deciding if any exemption missed also can be claimed during that time also, during the adjudication time as well. Which of the following statement does not covered under exemption notification? With reference to GST on monthly subscription contribution charged by Residential Welfare Association from its members. Sir, Residential Welfare Association, there's a residential complex. Okay. So here like there are total 1000 flats. So this has been formed as a residential welfare association. Now what this residential welfare association will do, from member it will collect membership fee and maintenance, and then residential welfare association will provide water supply, electricity, power backup, lift maintenance, swimming pool, such kind of services. There is an exemption regarding it. See, what is the exemption? GST exemption for residential welfare associations applies when either contribution per month is less than or equal to 7,500, even if turnover exceeds 20 lakhs. Sir, first turnover 20 lakhs exceeded, they should register. If they're registered, even though they're registered also, if it is within 7,500 per month or equal to 7,500, exempted. Then turnover is less than 20 lakhs, but one of the contribution exceeds 7,500. So when their turnover is within 20 lakhs, even though they made a taxable supply, which is more than 7,500, they'll not register. They'll remain as unregistered. Hence again, it is not taxable. Only when 20 lakhs exceeds, they register. Once they register and they make a supply, then it is taxable, right? So unregistered case, turnover within 20 lakhs, unregistered. So even though it exceeds 7,500, usually they will not pay tax. Now see, annual turnover of residential welfare association more than 20 lakhs and monthly maintenance charges from individual member is 7,300. So what is the question, sir? Not covered under exemption notification. Then, sir, here what? More than 20 lakhs, but amount is how much? 7,300 only. So exempted only, this is. Second one, annual turnover more than 20 lakhs. And monthly maintenance charges is also 8,500. Both satisfied. Turnover more than 20 lakhs. Then consideration also more than 7,500. So this is taxable. Third one. Turnover within 20 lakhs. But monthly maintenance charges 15,500. What is the point here? They remain unregistered. Since they are unregistered, not taxable. Next, annual turnover of residential welfare association is less than 20 lakhs. And monthly maintenance charges 7,500. Both are within the limits. Hence, no liability. Only two. Care Charitable Trust running a hospital by visiting doctor specialist. Medical services to patients are provided at a concessional rate charged by hospital for 3,50,000 from patients and paid to visiting doctors and specialists 2,20,000 who are not the employees. In this case, what, sir, understand? Medical services to patients at a concessional rate charged by hospital were 3,50,000. Sir, the hospital charges 3,50,000. Out of that, 2,20,000 is given to a specialist doctor, whereas 1,30,000 is retained by hospital. The amount paid to specialist doctor is also exempted. Retained by hospital is also exempted. So what is the taxable amount now? Nil. Which one of the following is correct? Entire income of any trust is exempted. Sir, it's not income tax here, GST. The trust income is exempted. Only it is for the purpose of charity. Okay, when it receives any donations or incomes, where the objective is to provide education, environment, health, religion, spirituality, yoga, then only it is exempted. So it's not like any income is exempted. Entire income of registered trust is exempted. Registered or unregistered. Only certain incomes related to charitable are only exempted. Income from specified defined charitable activities of a trust are exempted. Incomes from a specified defined charities of a registered trust under section 12A of income tax are exempted. So out of this is more specific. That's why this is the correct answer. Select the correct statement. Nothing but, sir, where the business is transferred as a going concern. Okay, I own a grocery store. Now I am giving this grocery store to someone else for some 30 lakhs. Now the whole stock, whatever is the stock there, assets there, and whatever the goodwill I am having, debtors I am having, everything I am transferring to him and getting how much? 30 lakhs. When the business is transferred as a going concern, the 30 lakhs which I received, that is not a supply. It is exempted under, it's a supply, it is exempted under GST. Transfer of going concern, business under going concern. Services to a single residential unit is exempted. Sir, construction services to a single residential unit means an individual house. You're constructing an individual house. For that construction service is taxable. The only exemption is pure labor supply. I mean, labor alone has been supplied for the construction, exempted. If labor and material together is supplied as a works contract, taxable. Transportation of passengers is accepted in AC coach. Sir, transportation of passengers through AC coach, taxable only railways. Vessel for public tourism. Vessel actually inland waterways exempted, but it should be other than tourism. Here it is what? Tourism. That's why taxable. In a metered cab, auto rickshaw. Cab and auto rickshaw it is exempted, sir. But remember, if it is through e-commerce operator, taxable. The same auto, if you book through this Rapido, Ola, Uber, taxable. Normally, if you hire it now, then it is exempted. Then, which of the following is not exempted? Healthcare services to human beings by authorized medical practitioners or paramedics. Where a medical practitioner or paramedic providing healthcare service, exempted. Healthcare services to animals and bird, veterinary clinics, exempted. Slaughtering of animals, mutton shop. Okay, so that used to be exempted previously. Slaughtering of animals, sir. So sheep and all in metro cities and sir, in rural areas, they'll buy a sheep, they'll cut it, they'll process it, and then they'll give. But in cities and all, for the people, they'll not have much space. Okay, even they wanted to start something like this mutton shop kind of also, they'll not have space to do all those things, removing skin and all those things. So that's why this slaughtering shops or slaughtering of animals there, they'll do all those services also. Okay, if you watch a movie kind of like, there are two movies, sir. If it is Telugu, Falaknama Das. If it is like Tamil also, then there's a movie called Master. There, the villain will be having such kind of slaughtering facilities and all, cold storage and all. So there they'll be doing slaughtering only. So such kind of slaughtering of animals is no more exempted. It is taxable. It is omitted. Warehousing of fruits is exempted. The exemption notification must be issued in public interest. Public interest means, sir, when you are you're giving an exemption in case of public interest, the public will feel happy. That's what they said. General happiness of the mass, of section of society, not to a specific section, not to a community. It's what in general. Then, where any ambiguity in application of exemption notification, the same should be settled in favor of revenue or assessor. The exemption notification is interpreted in a different ways, multiple ways. One way, favor to the revenue. Other way, favor to the assessor. Which assessment or which kind of treatment has to be followed? There is a case law, sir, Dilip Kumar and Co. versus Commissioner of Customs, a landmark case where the court held that exemption notification must be strictly construed and any obligation must be resolved in favor of the tax. So that's why it should be in favor of the revenue. Which of the following is exempted? All kind of long-term lease, sir, it is related to long-term lease. Long-term lease is exempted where such lease is given leases of industrial plots or plots for development of infrastructure for financial businesses by state government or industrial development corporations or undertakings to industrial units. Sir, you know this Amaravati capital, how it is forming. The farmers are giving lands to the state government. So now state government will develop them and give. Now, this farmer is giving their land to state government, then state government under a long-term lease. The government will be paying them lease payments and all. Now that is what exempted only. Why they are for what? Industrial plots, they'll be making them into industrial plots or for development of infrastructure for financial business or any other purpose. So that's why it is what? Exempted. Then which of the following are exempted services? Services by an artist by way of performance in folk classical art form where the consideration not exceed 1 lakh. 1 lakh not, sir, it is 1.5 lakh. If it is not exceeding 1.5 lakhs, then it is exempted. So that's why it is what? By way of folk or classical art form with consideration, therefore, sir, actually this also should be exempted only. Because within 1.5 lakhs, now it is there what? Within 1 lakh. So this can also be exempted, sir, but instead answer they are given like that. But okay, as I said already now, if both the answers can be interpreted as correct, then they'll give both the answers. If wrong in the material or MTP also, but in the key, they'll be changing it. So this is also correct only. Then services by an artist by way of performance in folk classical art form with consideration, therefore. Second one is also correct only. Services by an artist by way of performance in folk classical art form of music, dance with consideration, therefore not exceeding 1.5 lakhs. So this is also correct only. Okay, theatre is not there also fine. It's not like all the three has to be performed. Any one of them has to be performed. Service by an artist by way of performance in folk, classical art form, music, dance, theatre with consideration, therefore not exceeding 1.5 lakhs. This is also correct only. Okay, sir, actually their intention is like, they are asking you which exact sentence is correct. Okay, it's not like they are giving a situation and saying like whether this is exempted or not. If it's like situation kind of interpretation, all the three are like exempt only. If you want to recreate exact notification sentence, then third one will remain the exact sentence. Okay. Service by an brand ambassador, sir. So it is like what? Taxable only. Service supplied by an establishment of person in India to own establishment outside India is exempted. You are providing service from here to your branch office which is there in US. Okay. It is exempted when place of supply is outside India. So further, GST is not leviable on service between Indian and foreign establishments of the same person if they are same legal entity. I mean, it's not a subsidiary company kind of, the same company, just a branch. Place of supply of such services outside India. Service is used or consumed outside India. No consideration. And since no consideration and all, it is not even export, but still non-taxable. Import of services by foreign diplomatic mission or consular post in India or diplomatic missions posted therein or also be. Sir, if any services by this imported by this foreign diplomatic mission and all, sir, this foreign diplomatic missions, consulars, all these are like guests to India. So the services they provide also exempted. If they have any import of service, that is also exempted. Okay, import of service is only exempted, sir. Locally, if you provide any service to foreign diplomatic missions and all, that is taxable only. If they provide service, exempt. Foreign diplomatic mission provide service, exempt. They receive domestically na taxable. Outside India na then exempted. Which of the following services are not exempt? Yoga camp by a charitable trust registered under 12AB. Yoga camp exempted. Provided by business correspondent with respect to savings bank account in rural branch. Sir, I said already this is very frequently coming exemption. Business correspondent or a business facilitator where they are providing services to a bank which is located in rural area, then those services are exempted. Whereas services by way of cord blood bank for preservation of stem cell. What is called stem cell, sir? For a newborn, for a just born baby, the mother and the baby will be connected with a nerve. That is called the stem cell. So previously there used to be exemption for it, but now it is omitted. So hence it is taxable. Services provided by commentator taxable. Player, referee, coach, team manager, their services are exempted. Player, coach, team manager, referee, their services are exempted, sir. Commentator, curator, technical experts, their services are taxable. We are under time of supply. Mr. A, who has opted for composition levy, supplies goods for 24,300 to Mr. B and issued invoices for 24,300 and B pays 25,000 on 1st October. Sir, see what A is the supplier, B is what recipient. Now A has raised a invoice for how much? 24,300. But whereas B has paid how much? 25,000. How much excess he has paid? Excess he paid is how much? 700. Okay. Is adjusted in the, which will be adjusted in the next invoice. Identify the time of supply and value of supply. Sir, for this 24,300, first invoice related we'll check. We'll then decide about the 700. For this 24,300, what is the time of supply usually? The time of supply under section 12, subsection 2, FCM is earliest of the following: date of issue of invoice, last date on which invoice has to be issued under 31, date on which supplier receives the payment. However, notification 66/2017 says like all the taxpayers except composition scheme persons and registered persons supplying specified actionable claims are exempted from paying tax on the date of payment. It means for composition scheme and specified actionable claim supplying persons, all the three has to be checked, whichever is earlier. For others, you should check only 2 points only you should check. Okay. Okay. Now, for this 24,300 composition scheme person, we should check all the three. So now, invoice 25th September, payment 1st October. Only these two are available. Invoice 25th September, payment 1st October. So for 24,300, it is what? 25th September. It is what? 25th September. Then for the excess 700 rupees, sir, for the excess 700 rupees, there is a clarification actually. What is this clarification? Time of supply with respect to amount up to rupees 1,000 received in excess of invoice value. Sir, usually this is not applicable for goods. Why? Because for goods, payment is not required. You will check only date of invoice or due date for issue of invoice, whichever is earlier. But here, composition scheme person, this fellow, since he is a composition scheme person, payment is relevant. Since payment is relevant, this clarification is also relevant. So for the excess amount, if it is within 1,000, what should be the time of supply for the excess amount? It could be either the date of invoice or date of payment at the option of supplier. Date of invoice or date of payment at the option of supplier. So it could see where supplier receives amount up to 1,000 in excess of amount indicated in invoice, it could be date of payment or date of invoice at the option of supplier. See, so 24,300, 25th September only. For the 700, it could be either 1st October or it could be 5th January. Sorry, here it's wrongly typed, but it is actually what? 5th January. 5th January only they meant. Okay, so that's why both B and C are correct. ABC Limited has purchased for its customer 50 vouchers worth 500 each. Okay, ABC purchased for its customer rupees 50 vouchers worth rupees 500 each from Ram Private Limited, a footwear manufacturing company. The vouchers are issued by Ram Private Limited. The vouchers can be encashed in retail outlets of Ram Private Limited. The employees of ABC Limited encash the same. Determine the time of supply of vouchers. For vouchers, what is the time of supply, sir? There are vouchers are of two types: identifiable, non-identifiable. If they are identifiable vouchers, then date of issue of voucher itself is the time of supply. Sir, here they are specifically mentioning it as footwear, na? That's why it is what? Identifiable voucher. Since it is identifiable voucher, date of issue itself is the time of supply. Sir, if at all you are a other than June 2025 student, for December 2025 and all, voucher concept is not there. Voucher is not a good at all. Why? Voucher, by definition, if you interpret, it either fit into the definition of actionable claim or it doesn't. It will classify under the definition of money. Money, na, not a good and service at all. Actionable claim, na, excluded from schedule, excluded from supply definition through schedule 3. That's why. Okay. Determine the amount of GST in case of supply of service 10 lakhs on 4th September and invoice has been issued on the same date. Okay, sir, if you see here, date of completion also 4th September, whereas date of determine the amount of GST in case of supply of service 4th September. Invoice is also on what? 4th September. Sir, what is the time of supply for service? If you look at here, the time of supply of service under FCM, what is the time of supply, sir? You should check. Invoice raised within 1 time limit or not raised within section 31 time limit. Na. What is section 31 time limit? Usually for a general service 30 days. FBI na, financial institutions, banking, insurance 45 days. Okay. So here normal service only, right? What is it? What is the service here? They didn't even mention the name also. That means general service. 30 days is the time limit to raise invoice. If they raise within 30 days, date of payment or invoice, whichever is earlier. If not, payment or completion, whichever is earlier. So if you see here, what on the same day pay completion and invoice within 30 days. So what you should take? Date of invoice or date of payment 30th August, whichever is earlier. So whichever is earlier, na, which is earlier, sir? 30th August is earlier. Okay, sorry, sir. Here there is a change in tax rate. Okay, sir. When there is a change in tax rate, now first you will take on which day the tax rate has been changed. 1st September. Okay. So now 1st September before how much rate? 5%. After 12%. Now how to decide? Like to decide here there are 3 parameters: date of invoice, date of completion, date of payment. Check whether these 3, how many are before rate change, how many are after rate change. Date of invoice, when it is issued, sir? Supply of service of 10 lakhs on 4th September, invoice on same day. So after 4th service, 4th na, after. Date of completion is also after. Payment is only before. Out of 3, 2 falls after the rate change. 2 falls after the rate change. So which rate is applicable? New rate applicable. Okay. Then what I said? Since new rate is applicable, which 2 decided as new rate? Invoice and completion. Completion can never become time of supply. Either invoice or payment. So here completion can never become now, then invoice date is the time of supply. So 4th September is the time of supply. And what is the tax rate? 12%. So 1,20,000 is the tax. Next. There was a decrease in tax rate from 28 to 18. Which of the following rate is applicable for who has not opted composition levy and supplied goods to customer? Further, goods were removed from its factory on 31st August, delivered to buyer on 2nd November, invoice issued on 31st August, payment received on 4th September. Sir, here also there is a rate change from when? 1st September 2024. Okay. Okay. Before how much? 28%. After how much? 18%. What are the 3 we need to check? Date of invoice, date of payment, date of completion. Here supply involves movement of goods. Where supply involves movement of goods, when the supply will be considered as made on or before the date of removal of goods. Okay, so the date of removal of goods is 31st August now, so it is considered as like 31st August is the 31st August is the date of completion. 31st August is the date of completion because goods involve movement, date of removal. Then what is the date of payment, sir? 4th September. 4th September. Whereas date of invoice is on when? 31st August. Invoice is issued on 31st August. So if you see 4th September, 31st August, 31st August. Okay, let me write down much more clearly for you. Date of invoice is what? 31st August. Date of payment is what? 4th September. Date of completion is also what? 31st August. Out of these 2, which were after rate change? So 31st August, not before. Date of completion is also what? Before. Only payment is after. 2 or before. So which rate? Old rate. Old rate is what? 28% is only applicable. Old rate applicable. Now out of these 2, one should become time of supply. Invoice or completion. Completion cannot be. Invoice date will be the time of supply. What is called date of receipt of payment? Entry in books of accounts or credit into bank account, whichever is earlier. Then Kanan, a famous sweet shop located under GST, located and registered under GST, it is in Uttar Pradesh, received order for 200 kgs of sweets located in the same locality for a consideration of 1 lakh. Complete order of sweets was delivered on 5th May but without invoice as accountant of Kanna was on leave. However, the invoice was raised on 6th May when the accountant joined the officer after the leave. Payment is made on 7th May. Sir, first sweets means goods. Sweets means what? Goods. So what is the date of removal of goods? Okay, received order 2nd May. So we forget about order date, 2nd May. Whereas delivered, complete order of which delivered on when 5th May. So that is the date of removal. So that means date of removal is nothing but due date for issue of invoice. So due date for issue of invoice is what? 5th May. Whereas what is the date of invoice? However, the invoice is raised on 6th May. For goods, payment is not relevant. We already said notification 66/2017 says like, except he is a composition scheme person or specified actionable claims, payment is irrelevant. So whichever is earlier, 5th May. Find the time of supply from the following where the date of supply of service is 7th September. So the service is when? 7th September. What is this question? Date of invoice, date of payment, amount credited to bank account. So actually this is part of question only, I think. Okay, let us solve. 7th September what? Service has been supplied. Invoice has been raised when? 30th October. So within 30 days or after 30 days? Service completed 7th September. Invoice raised after 30 days. So invoice greater than 30 days. When invoice is raised after 30 days, you should check what? Date of completion or date of payment. Date of completion or date of payment. Sir, payment is when? 10th October. Okay. Whereas completion is when? 7th September. So the option is like 7th September. So this A, B, C and are not questions. These are, not options. These are part of questions. Only one answer has been given straight away. Okay then. What is the time of supply of service with respect to receipt of amount in excess of the invoice value? Sir, if any excess amount is received along with invoice, what is for that? Date of issue of invoice by the supplier if invoice is issued within the prescribed, or the date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Date of provision of service if the invoice is not issued within the prescribed period, or the date of recipient of payment, whichever is earlier. Date on which recipient shows the receipt of service in his books of account in case all the provisions of clause A or clause B does not apply. Sir, all these conditions are correct only, sir, with respect to time of supply. If invoice raised within time limit, invoice or payment. Not raised within time limit, completion or payment. If both not applicable, date of recording it in the books of accounts of recipient. All those provisions related to time of supply. It's a general question. He has given a general answer. So all these options are correct only. Then, what is the time of supply in case of forward charge? Date of issue of invoice, due date of issue of invoice, date of receipt of consideration. Consideration is not required, sir, actually. Why? Payment is not relevant for goods. Notification 66/2017. So invoice or date of invoice or due date of invoice. So earlier of A and B. Then value of service rendered is 1 lakh. Date of issue of invoice is 5th October. Advance received 25,000. Balance received on 7th October. What is the time of supply for 1 lakh? Sir, I already said under service. I mean not here in classes. What I said means with respect to services where the payment is made in multiple installments, then time of supply has to be decided separately for each installment. So for 25,000, do separately. For 25,000, completion is not made because prior to completion, advance made. So what is the service rendered on what? 1st October. So date of invoice and date of payment here. What is date of invoice, sir? 5th October. Whereas date of payment is what? 25,000. 20th September, which is earlier 20th September. Then for the balance 75,000, what is the date of payment? 7th October. Whereas when the invoice has been raised, when the invoice balance amount is value of service rendered 1 lakh, date of issue of invoice is like 5th October. So 5th October or 7th October. What it is like? 5th October. So 5th October for 75,000, 20th for 25,000. There was an increase in tax rate from 12% to 18% with effect from 1st September. Which of the following rate is applicable? When service provided after change of rate of tax, but invoice and payment both in August. Invoice payment before, completion after. Two are before the rate change. So where majority is, which side majority is there, that is only applicable. So majority invoice and payment before rate change. So old rate is only applicable. What is the maximum time limit for issue of tax invoice in case of insurance services? 45 days. FBI, financial institutions, banking institutions, insurance companies, 45. For normal people, 30 days. Which notification removed the requirement of payment of tax on advance receipt in case of supply of goods? When we are not considering, which notification says like payment need not to be considered? Notification 66/2017. So payment is not a relevant criteria for determining time of supply. Next, A entered into a contract with B and agreed to make payment on 30th September. If the payment is not made in time, then he shall pay late fee at 200 per day. But no payment of late fee has been made. What shall be the time of supply? Sir, if any interest, late fee, penalty collected, actually, then it should be includable in value of supply. If it is included in value of supply, then the time of supply is when the interest, late fee, penalty is paid to supplier. When the interest, late fee and penalty is paid to supplier. Here paid, not paid. So there is no time of supply. Then Wanderlust Travels has purchased a bus chassis for a consideration of 90 lakhs. And then Wanderlust sent the bus chassis for bus body building and paid advance. Sir, first, who purchased the bus? Wanderlust purchased a bus chassis. And Krish Motors for consideration of 90 lakhs. Okay, from. And then sent the bus for bus building to Bhagavat Fabricators. So I purchased a bus chassis and then sending to you for bus body building. Supply of goods or supply of service? Service. Already MCQ discussed the same one. So when the bus chassis also provided by this Bhagavati only, then good. Here chassis I purchased now, so it is only supply of service. So for supply of service, I paid advance 25 lakhs. Okay, and then Bhagavati Fabricators, after completing bus body, informed and the inspection was done on 5th November. Wanderlust visited the workshop on 8th November and confirmed that the bus body was in accordance with the terms of contract. So date of completion is when? 8th November. Okay, whereas advance payment is what? 15th October for 25 lakhs. Now 8th November na this one is done. Sir, this big question given na, they're asking a small point. What is the last date for issuing of invoice? It's a normal service only. FBA, it's not FBA. In case of other than FBA, what is the time limit for issue of invoice? Within 30 days from completion of service. That is what? 8th December. In case of change in tax rate and amount is credited into bank account after 4 working days. So what is the point here? In case of change in tax rate, the payment may be forged. The payment date can be forged. That's why the government, they insert a provision like payment you should check whether it is credited in bank account within 4 working days from rate change. If payment credited in bank account within 4 working days from rate change, take book entry or bank entry, whichever is earlier. If the payment credited in bank after rate change, when the payment credited in bank account after 4 working days from rate change, then you don't consider book entry, only bank entry has to be considered. So what is this? It's not like whichever is earlier. So you may take like whichever is earlier. But here after 4 working days, na, so you don't trust book entry anymore, no. Bank entry only will be trusting. Okay. See, place of supply. So you guys should have already did one revision to understand this, because place of supply usually itself it is a little complicated to understand. So if I'm going at this speed, it will be little tough for you to understand only. But that's why if you want now, pause it, open the book and then refer it. Your revision will also will complete here. Okay. So now money transferred service. So first of all, the basic things are there are like service and goods we need to decide place of supply. For goods now, no problem, sir. It is very simple. Directly we could sell 10 subsection 1 under that clause A, clause B, clause C, clause CA, clause D, clause E. 5 only will there. Whereas service, they'll come under section 12 and 13. Which act? IGST act we are referring. Okay. Service 12 and 13. Sir, now first you should have this basic clarity. Section 12. Section 12 means where location of supplier and location of recipient both are in India. Supplier and recipient both are in India. 13. Only one of them is in India, the other one is outside India. And one more thing I need to clarify here only. Sir, interstate supply definition and intrastate supply definition. Sir, when we call it a transaction as interstate, usually when location of supplier and place of supply are in 2 different states. See, here interstate means location of supplier and place of supply are in 2 different states, union territories, or 1 state and 1 union territories. Or import, interstate. Supplier India, place of supply outside India. Supplies to or by SEZ unit, developer, or any other transaction which is not intra. Now intrastate, location of supplier and place of supply are in same state or same union territory. Location of supplier and place of supply are in same state or same union territory. For service, okay, for service, sir, this even though they are in same state, location of supplier and place of supply are in same state, same union territory, for service, it can be called as intrastate only when section 12 of IGST Act is applicable. I mean, if place of supply is to be determined under section 13, even though location of supplier and place of supply are in same state, it is still not intrastate. If not intrastate, then what it is? It fall under the interstate under this residual category. Understand, sir? Okay, to avoid future confusion, once again I am repeating this point alone. Usually intrastate means what? Location of supplier and place of supply are in same state or same union territory. But for service, okay, this point correct only. But when this holds good only when section 12 of IGST Act is applicable for such service. I mean, you can determine place of supply under section 12. Then this line is good. If place of supply has to be determined under section 13, then this line does not hold good. I mean, it's not an intrastate. So when section 13 came into picture, both these two are in the same state, still not intrastate. Then what? It comes under the interstate under this residual category. Okay. Now look at the first question. Money transfer service provided to foreign entity by Indian supplier of service is intermediary service. Sir, foreign entity by Indian supplier. Foreign entity by Indian supplier, it is covered under where? 13 subsection 8. Sir, this my view is wrong only. Okay, I'm striking off this. Don't bother. Under section 13 subsection 8. Okay, 13 subsection 8 is about intermediary service. Is about intermediary services. 13 subsection 8. 13 na? Okay, under 13. That means what? One is outside India, the other one is in India. So under 13 subsection 8, what is the place of supply? Place of supply is location of supplier. Here, money transfer service provided to foreign entity by Indian supplier. So location of supplier is what? Indian supplier, India. Whereas place of supply is also what? Location of supplier only. Okay, but the service is provided to a outsider. Who is outside? India. Place of supply is also India only. But still, which tax has to be levied? IGST only has to be levied. Why? Because I explained this interpretation. So still you are not getting, then go back. Okay, 1 minute and then again listen and come back. If RR shipping company located in Chennai charges ocean freight charges for transportation of goods to USA for a customer located in Hyderabad, the place of supply of service shall be R shipping Chennai, to whom freight charges for transportation of goods to USA. Goods going to USA, but customer where? India only. So supplier India, recipient India. Which section? 12. Transportation, this is covered where? 12 subsection 8. So under 12 subsection 8, what is the place of supply? Recipient registered place of supply. Okay, place of supply is the location of recipient. Where recipient is unregistered unregistered is the place of supply, location where such goods are handed over. But actually there is one more point, sir, where the goods destination is outside India. Let me check once. So look at this provision, sir. Transportation of goods including mail, courier, 12 subsection 8. Sir, if you are following BCCA handwritten notes, so please, this part is not there, mistakenly written here. So please strike off this particular thing. Recipient registered place of supply is location of recipient. Recipient unregistered okay, it's not like destination outside India, irrespective of destination. Okay, this also you should strike off. Recipient unregistered, then the place of supply is where the goods are handed over for transportation. This is the correct one. Recipient registered person, place of supply is location of recipient. Recipient unregistered, where the goods are handed over for transportation. See now. RR Shipping Company Limited, Chennai, ocean freight charges for transport of goods to USA. Sir, supplier Chennai, recipient Hyderabad. What is the place of supply here? Recipient registered or unregistered? They didn't mention. Okay, if recipient is registered, then Hyderabad. Assume if recipient is unregistered, where the goods are handed over? For transportation of goods to USA for a customer located in Hyderabad. If they are handed over in Hyderabad, then it is Hyderabad. But maybe through freight means, maybe from Hyderabad, this client only might have taken to, this particular, who, his name is not given, right? RR is the shipper, customer. So this customer, sir, shipping company is there what through ocean freight. It might be there near the port in Chennai. From Hyderabad to Chennai, it needs to be taken, right? So we are not sure whether the goods are handed over in Hyderabad or in Chennai. So here this Hyderabad is given. The answer is assumed like what? Assumed customer registered. Okay, if not. Okay, if you take unregistered person only. Even if unregistered person you assume, then second assumption also you should make like what the goods have been handed over in Hyderabad only. Okay. Agency fee paid to foreign banks for arranging finance. For arranging finance, foreign banks for arranging like what finance is paid. Under section 13 subsection 8 for banking service to accounting holders. Here for arranging finance need not to maintain regular accounts. Therefore, so place of supply is as per 13 subsection 2. Agency fee paid to foreign bank for arranging finance. Okay. Sir, 1 second. Okay, here also there might be a mistake here. Location of supplier is what? Outside India. Here, under section 13 subsection 8 for banking services to account holders. For arranging finance needs, here for arranging finance, need not to maintain regular account there. So 13 subsection 8, when it comes into picture, banking services provided to account holders. Whereas here, they are just what arranging, they are doing agency fees for arranging finance. So they doesn't maintain regular account there. Okay, the bank is just acting as what, just like as what, to arrange funds and all. It is acting not as like a regular banker. So it need not to be assumed as like account holder. Then which section will come into picture? 13 subsection 2 you should take. 13 subsection 2 is what? Address available or not available. Usually when they are arranging and all, address will be available. Address is available, then what? Place of supply equals to location of recipient. Location of supplier is outside India. Location of supplier is what? Outside India. Place of supply is what? Location of recipient. That is nothing but what? India. And then recipient is also what? India only. So now institute answered correct only. So previously I have interpreted wrongly. That's what I want to communicate here. That's why I have taken time. Understand here? Location of recipient is what here? So previously the interpretation thing wrong is here. I was interpreting it under what? 13 subsection 8. Okay. I'm thinking it as like banking service only. I mean service provided to an account holder. But it should be referred as like what? Since they are only arranging finance, it's not like to a regular account holder. Since it is not to a regular account holder, 13 subsection 8 is not applicable. Then which is applicable? 13 subsection 2. 13 subsection 2, assuming if the address is, not assuming, in such kind of services, address is usually available. So what is the place of supply? Location of recipient. Nothing but India. So place of supply India, location of recipient India, supplier alone outside India. So what it is? It is an import of service. It is an import of service. Then Kapil, director of TRT Limited registered in Chennai, went for 2 days. Okay, Kapil, director of TRT registered in Chennai, went for 2 days official seminar in Delhi from Noida. He booked a hotel in Delhi, provide the company's GSTN. What is the place of supply? Sir, here, what service here? 13 subsection 2 will come, 13 subsection 3 comes into picture. What here? The service is what? Accommodation in a hotel. You should, what is the place of supply? If it is accommodation is in India only now, place of supply equals to where such accommodation or hotel is located. Where the hotel is located? Delhi. So place of supply is what? Delhi. Then, in case of supply of goods for 9,000, following information is provided. What? Advance 5,000 received on 1st August. Invoice 9,000 on 15th August. Goods removed on 25th August. Balance payment 4,000 received on 26th August. You may assume that payment entered in the book and credited in bank on the same. Okay, it's time of supply, sir. Okay, what is the time of supply? Sir, what is the time of supply for goods? Payment is irrelevant with respect to goods. So what we should check? Invoice date. What is the invoice date? 15th August. Then the date of removal of goods. When the goods has been removed? 25th August. So this is the date of invoice, whereas 25th August is what? Due date of invoice. Due date of invoice is what? See, for goods what? Advance relevant or irrelevant? For goods, advance is irrelevant. What is the time of supply? Here it is like date of invoice. It is what? Due date of invoice. So due date of invoice is 25th August. Date of invoice is 15th August. Whichever is earlier is the time of supply. So 15th August for both 5 lakhs as well as 4 lakhs. Maintenance and repair services provided within territorial waters owned by a foreign company. What is the place of supply? It is a not export of service, because where the service is provided in territorial waters, it is considered as provided where near the coastal state only. Okay, so not export of service. It's not an export of service, even if it is provided in territorial waters, even if the payment is received in foreign exchange. Then RT liners registered to GST and normal provisions has provided services of transportation of goods from Mumbai to Dubai. As regards such supply is on 12th December. What is the place of supply? RT liners under normal provisions has provided services of transportation of goods. What is the transportation of goods, sir? With respect to registered to GST has provided services of transportation of goods. Sir, actually the question itself is a mistake, sir. Why? Because if RT limiter can availing ITC, then it should be a purchase to them. It should be an invert. So here the question itself there is a mistake. RT liners registered to GST under normal provisions has provided services. If it provided services, then it cannot take ITC. Then what is the place of supply? It would be like assuming registered person only. Then what? Where the goods are handed over. So it is what? Mumbai. So place of supply is Mumbai and RT liners cannot take ITC. Sir, my view is like D is the correct answer. So please cross check it. Okay, if at all there is any other interpretation, please notify me. I'll be putting there also. I'll be correcting myself also. Then peer star consultants located and registered under GST in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, provided architectural services to Team India, located and registered in Team India Private Limited, located and registered in Kerala, for its office to be constructed in Team India. Sir, what it is like? Peer consultants, supplier Chennai, recipient Kochi, Kerala. With respect to what? Architectural services. Covered where? 12 subsection 3. What is the place of supply? Where the property is located or intended to be located. Where it is located? Kochi. Which of the following is not an interstate supply? Supplier of goods and supplier of goods in Chennai. Place of supply is in SEZ. Chennai only. But supply of goods to SEZ is in interstate. Supplier of goods located in Chennai and place of supply is in Jaipur. Location of supply in one state, place of supply is in another state. Supplier of goods in Chennai. Whereas place of supply is in SEZ located in Chandigarh. Again, supply to SEZ or by SEZ are also called as interstate only, all of the above. But what you might think is like A, you might have put it as like A. Which of the following is an interstate? Usually you think only B as the correct answer. Supply of goods in one state, place of supply is in another state. This SEZ points and all you might miss, but all the three are interstate only. Which is an intrastate? Supplier of goods in Chennai, place of supply is in SEZ, even though Chennai SEZ, so it is what? Interstate. Supply of goods in Chennai, place of supply is where? Jaipur, interstate. Supply of goods in Chennai, place of supply is also in Chennai, intrastate. Which of the following transaction is an interstate supply of goods involving movement of goods? Location of supplier is Hyderabad. Location of recipient is in Mumbai. And goods are shipped to Kolkata. Since goods are shipped to Kolkata, what is the place of supply, sir? Where the movement terminates for ultimate delivery. 10 subsection 1 clause A. Okay, place of supply with respect to goods where it involves movement. Where the movement terminates for ultimate delivery. Where the movement terminates here? Kolkata. So place of supply is Kolkata. Okay. Okay. So to call it as interstate, this should have been happened. Whereas location of supplier is in Hyderabad, place of supply is in Mumbai, then also it is interstate only, na? Is an interstate of goods involving movement of goods. Still, if supplier is in Hyderabad and the goods are shipped to Mumbai, then also it could be interstate only. Location of supplier, sir, C, na? Definitely not. Okay, because A is there, we cannot call it as D. Okay, sir, again one more interpretation, sir. B also can be taken as place of supply. Location of supplier is in Hyderabad and place of supply is in Mumbai, so that also. But A is more specific, that's what here. But B can also be understood as interstate. Then no GST shall be payable for transshipment of goods at customs station in India for further transportation outside India. Okay, then in case of import of goods by vessel from outside India to customs port in India, the importer of India is liable to pay GST under reverse charge. Okay, two statements has been given, sir. No GST with respect to transshipment of goods at customs station in India for further transportation of outside India. So transshipment coming from Dubai, India, and again from India they are going to another country. Transshipment, on that there is no GST. So first one is correct only. In case of import of goods, yes, on the freight and all, okay, RCM is applicable. That is also correct. So both A and B is correct. What is the place of supply in case the supply is made in territorial waters? Nearest to coastal state. Okay. Supply of goods in the course of import into territorial water is import, it is what? Interstate. XYZ having two SEZs in Maharashtra, one of the SEZ sends to another SEZ. SEZ to SEZ, interstate. Person supplying goods and services are both from the territorial waters should register. Sir, you are running a casino in territorial waters in Goa. Where you should register? In Goa state, because it is near to Goa. Maintenance repair service, sir, this already repeated question only. Stylish, a modeling agency registered in Mumbai, having 10 models, entered into contract for beauty treatment of their models with Fair and Lovely in Delhi. But the beauty treatment was done before a fashion show in the city of Hyderabad. What is the place of service? So this is a performance-based service. Okay, 12 subsection 4. Performance-based services like fitness, beauty treatment, catering, restaurant, personal grooming. For all those services, what is the place of supply? Where the service has been provided. Where the service has been provided. Where the service is provided, sir. But the beauty treatment was done before fashion show in Hyderabad. So place of supply is what? Hyderabad. Obama of USA come to Chennai for personal visit and booked room in Taj Hotel. What is the GST liable to pay by Taj Hotel where payment is received in US dollars? First, who is the location of supplier where, sir? Taj. Where it is? Chennai. Chennai na what? India. Location of recipient where? USA. Where location of supplier India, location of recipient is in India. Which section is applicable? 12 or 13? 13 is applicable. When section 13. Okay. Then what is the place of supply with respect to immobile property covered under 13 subsection 4, sir? Where the property is located. So place of supply equals to Chennai. Sir, here location of supplier is also Chennai, place of supply is also Chennai, but not intrastate. Why? Because 13 came into picture. So it's not intrastate, it is what? Interstate. That's why what? IGST. Then Sanjay Kumar, a resident of Noida. Okay, a resident of Noida, unregistered person, went to Himachal Pradesh for vacation. Okay, through car. After entering in Chandigarh, his car broke down. Then he called on roads an emergency roadside car assistance. The car was repaired by the staff, does not have policy to maintain record of the address of the person taking the car assistance. The value of supply amounted to 50,000. The bill was supposed to be generated online through the server, but due to some technical issue, it was not generated. Determine the place of supply. Sir, here supplier is from where? Noida, UP. Okay. Who is the recipient? Supplier Sanjay Kumar, na? Sorry, supplier is not Sanjay Kumar. On road. Where this on road is there? On road is located in Delhi. Location of supplier equals to on roads. Repair boy. On road. Where he is there? Delhi. Where the location of recipient is there, sir? Recipient Sanjay. Where Sanjay is there? UP. Sanjay is from UP. Now, this car repair and maintenance is nowhere covered under section 12. That means it fall under what? 12 subsection to default section. What default section says? Recipient registered or unregistered? Sir, he is a unregistered person, clearly said. Recipient unregistered. If recipient unregistered, again address available or not available? Here they said clearly somewhere address, okay, does not maintain a record of address. So address also not available. Then what is the place of supply? Place of supply is location of supplier only. So that's why it is what? Delhi. It is what? Delhi. So quickly we'll solve value of supply. Really quickly only. Ram, a second-hand car dealer, purchased the second-hand car for 2,50,000. He sold the same car to Lakshman for 3 lakhs. Sir, second-hand car dealer, na, margin scheme is applicable. What can be taken as value of supply? Sale price minus purchase price. If it is positive, here positive only, so this 50,000 is the value of supply. If answer is negative, then value of supply is nil. Thomas Cook Forex Limited, being a registered person under, okay, being a registered person, Thomas Cook being a registered person under GST, purchased $2,000 from our academy at the rate of 30 per US dollar. Actual exchange rate was 70. RBI reference rate not available. So again, rule 32 related, foreign exchange currency related. So what you should take? $2,000. If it is like foreign currency involved, what you should take actually? Actual rate minus RBI, difference between actual rate and RBI reference rate into number of units of foreign currency. But here RBI reference rate is not available. Then what to do? Convert the units of foreign currency into Indian currency using the actual conversion rate. Actual conversion rate is how much? 70. So then it is how much? 1,40,000. So 1,40,000 into 1%, na, it would be 1,400. So the value of supply will be 1,400, sir. But here they mistakenly given us 1,40,000. So it's wrong answer. You should take none of the above as 1,400. Okay. Then what will be the value of supply if X and Co supplies Sony television set for 85,000 along with exchange of old TV, and if the, sir, they are giving a TV along with exchange of old TV for 85,000. So here price is not the sole consideration. So which rule is applicable? Rule 27 comes into picture. What does it says? Like Take open market value. What is the open market value? 1 lakh. Take that. Next, ACG Limited, a supplier of television registered in the state of Gujarat, has a policy to supply one TV at 70% discount to open market value to its top employees. During the month, the company supplied 20 TVs to these employees. The total open market value of such 20 TVs is 7 lakhs, excluding GST. Calculate the value of supply. Sir, see, ACG Limited has given to employee TV at 70% discount. And when they given 70% discount, it is in terms of employment contract. I mean, they agreed to join that company only if he said like 70% discount I'll give on TV. That means the 70% discount which they are getting is also part of salary, covered by Schedule 3, not at all supply. This 70% is not at all supply because covered by contract of employment. So it is salary. Okay. Then net price 30% is only taxable. Sir, again one more point. Since employer and employee are related now, each can be exempted? No. These are related persons. Where the value of gift given is more than 50,000, then it is taxable. Sir, here understand, here it is what? 30%, which is 2,10,000. Okay, and it is actually paid. So no question, this 2,10,000 is the answer. The value of supply include all the taxes except GST and the TCS under income tax act. Interest, late fee, penalty for delayed payment of any consideration. Subsidies linked to the price which are given by other than except central and state government. Except central and state government na include. Central and state government na exclude. When can the transaction value be rejected for computation of value of supply? Where buyer and seller are related and price is not the sole consideration. Where buyer and seller are related. Where buyer and seller are related or price is not the sole consideration. Sir, the only difference is like here it is under, here it is like or. And na both has to be satisfied. Or na any one of them satisfies also it becomes rejected. That's why here R is the correct answer. Rule 30. Rule 30 is what, sir? Rule 30 is like cost plus method. So what, sorry. So under rule 30, what this is like, calculate CAS4, the cost as per CAS4 and multiply it with 110%. That itself will be taken as the value of supply. When we'll come to rule 30, when 27 is not applicable or 28, 29, the methods you are not applicable to you. Then in terms of rule 32 sub rule 7, the value of taxable services provided by such class of services providers as may be notified by government on the recommendations of the council as referred in paragraph 2 of schedule 1. Sir, paragraph 2 of schedule 1, distinct persons or related person is referred to in section 10. Whether ITC is available shall be deemed to be. Sir, understand, head office supplies some services to branch office without any consideration. Actually, as per schedule 1, paragraph 2, what are these two? These are supplies even though there is no consideration. But if branch office can avail ITC, registered and can avail ITC, still they supplied for no consideration, then you can take the value of supply as what? Nil. Value of supply as what? Nil. Where it is mentioned 32 sub rule 7. Okay. Then Vijay purchased certain goods worth 17,000 from Big Bazaar. As a matter of security, Vijay made them to do additional packing. Packing cost is an incidental expense, so this 1,500 shall also be included in the value of supply. Total value of supply is 18,500. Then Bharat, practicing CMA, provided certain professional services. However, during such course of action, some out-of-pocket expenses were incurred. So while providing that services, he incurred some expenses from his pocket and those were got reimbursed. Does the same to be includable in transaction value? Yes. But when you add, if he is not a pure agent, if he is acting as a pure agent and those reimbursements related expenses are not for the benefit of the CMA, those are incurred only for the purpose of client. The whole ownership is given to client. And if there is a condition, contract between them or agreement between them that the CMA can act on behalf of that particular client, then pure agent now don't add. Otherwise pure agent now you'll be adding. Does customs duty is part of transaction value? Yes, all the duties, taxes, cess, fees paid has to be included except GST and TCS as per Income Tax Act. Then supply of machinery and supply of installation and commissioning services is dash supply. Sir, supply of machinery and installation and commissioning, now it is composite supply. So the other part of the question actually is incomplete. So leave this. Okay, this question also ignore. Data is not available properly there. Sri Ram Seva Trust is a charitable institution registered under 12A trust. It has organized a skill development program related to persons over the age of 65 years residing in a city. In month of April, it received the following: subscription fee for the program, taxable; sponsorship fee, taxable; consideration for supply of goods, taxable. Besides that, the trust has received donations. So this donations is exempted. So Hanuman
Hanuman, an accountant of Sri Ram Seva Trust, is not able to determine taxability of the above. He seeks your expertise. What is your expertise? Says like tax all these three, 4,50,000. Okay. Sir, only with respect to charity, if he generates any income, those are exempted. Skill development program is not charity. Nowhere it is mentioned. So taxable. Sponsorship fee, taxable. Sponsorship fee, taxable. Then Miss Kala is proprietor of Kala and Associates, which deals in sale and purchase of second-hand goods. He effected the following intrastate transactions. Car 1, purchase price 5 lakhs, sale price 7,50,000. Car 2, 3 lakhs purchase price, sale price 2,75,000. Car 3, 6 lakhs, 6,50,000. Car 4, 8 lakhs and 9,50,000. But if you see, car 4, she is purchased from a registered person who charged 1,30,000 as GST, and she availed ITC also on them. That means on car 4, margin scheme is not available. On car 4, margin scheme is not available because ITC availed. Whereas car 1, car 2, car 3, you can follow margin scheme. But if you see here, car 1, the sale price is 7,50,000, purchase price 5 lakh, difference 2.5 lakhs. Okay, value of supply. Purchase price 3 lakhs, car sale price 2,75,000, negative value, ignore. So here, this also will ignore. Then 6 lakhs purchase price, sale price 6,50,000. What is the difference? 50,000. So take 2.5 lakhs, car 1, car 3, 50,000, and car 4, full value taxable, and we'll adjust ITC. Full value 9,50,000. Why? Car value car 4 ITC available, margin scheme not available, 9,50,000. So the total amount is 12,50,000. On this tax 2,25,000. But they already availed ITC of how much? 1,30,000. So adjust this 1,30,000. You will be getting 95,000 as the. You will be getting 95,000 as the ITC. Sorry, tax payable. 95,000 as the tax payable. Right. Hi all. So I'm continuing with now here ITC. But before starting ITC, one thing. So actually I already recorded ITC chapter, but then the recording didn't work properly. The screen got stuck and all. So again I'm recording the ITC part. So it's okay. It's quite common actually. Even in the DT marathon also yesterday, like almost like 45 minutes I already recorded. I thought like 4 or 5 chapters actually it is. I thought it was well, but again, the screen got stuck again. So I need to record it once again. So okay, it's fine, everything. But one thing is like, you're watching all our marathons, right? MCQ series, everything we are launching for you, right? So one thing I'm asking from you, just subscribe to the BCCA channel, right? We have been seeing there actually, still 40% of the students are watching without subscribing only. See, it's not like I will not get any money through that subscriber and all, but we feel little happy. So like at least for the effort we put something through subscribers, we are seeing somewhat. Okay, like, comment and all you put anyhow. It's okay. That's not, I need not to ask, but at least subscribe the BCCA channel, right? Okay, and one more thing, sir. See, the views and watch hours are seriously 5,000 plus watch hours are being there for each marathon or each kind of MCQ series, which was released for this attempt. We are not talking about the past videos also. 5,000 watch hours and around roughly 25,000, around 30,000 views for every subject. But the likes are being only 300, 350 only, sir. Again, I didn't understand whether you guys are not liking our videos or not. Okay? If you like, then just put a like, no. So what happens? Nothing, na. So we are been asking you, right? Do that. Why we are asking means the YouTube algorithm works in such a way only. When you guys like our video, it will be shown to much more people. If you don't like, then it feels like this video nobody is liking and nobody is sharing this one. So why it need to be pushed and also like that. Okay. So going on with the ITC chapter, sir. The line limit to pay the value of supply with the taxes to the supplier to avail the ITC is like 180 days, within 180 days. Proviso 2 subsection 2, recipient has to make the payment to supplier within 180 days. Sir, this question number 2 and 3, I'm not reading also, looking at these big questions. See what the point is about. Rule 42. What is rule 42? If you're having any input services which were used for making taxable supply, exempted supply or non-business supply all together, then you're having common inputs. A part grade only you can avail, the balance you should reverse because it is ineligible, used for exempted or non-business. So that you'll be calculating using that formula. Okay, T1, T2 and all. I'm not explaining all that. Soprathon you can refer. Monthly, you'll be doing this one, D1 and D2.
you will be finding out what ineligible thing. Then whatever you calculate ineligible thing for monthly, do the total for the whole year. I mean, how much is for April, May, June, all that, total it. Then again do it once again by taking the yearly turnovers. After the closure of financial year, whatever you did monthly wise, the same formula, same steps, but take the yearly consolidated figures now and do. So once you did monthly and taken the total. Now again you did yearly wise one. So this one, okay. So actually the lawmaker is intending that whatever you do on this yearly one, that should have been actually reversed by you and paid as liability. But you paid what? Monthly one. So this B is there, this B is the actual amount to be paid. But you paid only A. If it is less than B, difference you need to pay, that only asking. Yes, you should pay. By when? September following the end of financial year, to which credit is related. Okay. Till September time is there, sir? Without interest? No. With interest only 18% per annum from the succeeding financial year first day till the day you make the payment. Then 17 subsection 4. Banking companies or financial institutions have an option to claim what? Sir, 17 subsection 4 says like these banks and NBFCs and financial institutions have two options. One, follow rule 42 and 43. Second one, instead of following those two, the other option to them is like they can take, like if it is from their distinct persons, take 100% ITC on it. If it is from others, on the take 50%. Okay. Then it should be eligible credit and 50% credit, sir, actually. Okay. I don't think any of the options feels properly. So just focus on the concept, sir. Okay. 100% ITC when it is from your distinct percentage. On others, eligible, 50%. Ineligible, blocked, such things you leave. Then an assessee obtained new registration, sir. Okay. That means previously he is under non-tax paying. Now changing to tax paying. That means either from unregistered to registered, composition to regular, exempted to taxable. Now, previously is under non-tax paying status on his stock on the date of conversion, closing stock. ITC he didn't availed previously. Now ITC can be availed. ITC can be availed. But for this ITC, to avail ITC, invoice must be there. And this invoice shouldn't be older than 1 year. That's actually the question framing is little vague here. Understand? Okay. The last time limit for availing ITC and all. Time limit for taking credit. It's not time limit for taking credit. It's time limit for what? It's not time limit for taking credit. It's time limit for what? For this invoice actually. Okay then. Maximum time limit for availing ITC. 16 subsection 4. The date of filing of annual return or 30th November of the following financial year. In case of supply of plant and machinery on which ITC is taken, tax to be paid. 18 subsection 6. What does it say? Where a capital good is sold, calculate the tax on transaction value. Transaction value into tax rate. Or ITC availed minus 5% for every quarter used or part quarter used. That one only, whichever is higher. Mr. C, a practicing cost accountant, purchased the 3 laptops, each having tax element of 1,25,000. 2 laptops he utilized in his office, whereas 1 laptop he gifted to his sister. What is the amount of ineligible ITC? 1,25,000, sir. Why? Because 1 laptop gift and that one. Mr. Ajay purchased goods from Chatham, a composition dealer, worth 1 lakh. Since Chatham was trader, so he was supposed to pay only 1% of his turnover as tax. So purchased was otherwise taxable at 12%. What is the credit available? Sir, from composition scheme person you purchase. No ITC available. In which electronic ledger ITC will be shown? Credit ledger, electronic credit ledger. A manufacturer who is a registered person purchased 10,000 kgs. IGST 1 lakh. He has taken 100 kgs for personal use. Ineligible. 200 kgs stolen. Ineligible. I mean out of 10,000, 3,000 kgs ineligible. On 9,700 kgs only eligible, which is 97,000. 12. Similar kind of question. 13. A registered person under normal provisions purchased taxable goods. Okay. He paid 40% to S within 180 days. Sir, actually the full payment has to be made within 180 days. He paid only 40%. Then 60% related credit he should reverse. Then another purchase he has made for 2 lakhs, 18%. On this 60% only he paid within 180 days. Then in this 40% ineligible, in this 60% ineligible. Calculate that one. How much? 25,200. Okay, how it came? 18,000 into 60%, 36,000 into 40%, together 25,200. Then, why a registered person purchased the taxable goods from S? Y was forced to reverse ITC to the tune of 3 lakhs since S did not furnish 3B. Sir, actually the rule says like here, the supplier files GSTR1, recipient availed ITC. But supplier should have filed 3B also, but not filed. If supplier didn't file the GSTR 3B by 30th September of succeeding financial year also, then recipient has to reverse the ITC by 30th November. That only happened, he reversed 3 lakhs. But the question is, can he re-avail that if supplier filed 3B? Yes, he can re-avail if subsequently supplier files. Under which of the following situations ITC will be available under GST law? Car purchased by a manufacturing company for official use of its employee. For official use of its employee, ITC not available. Aircraft purchased by a manufacturing company for official use of its CEO. ITC not available. Because what? Here aircraft, motor cars, they should be used for other than. They should be used for renting, hiring, or imparting driving or navigation skills, or for further supply. Then only ITC available there. Maintenance and repair services of truck. Truck is eligible for ITC. Then the repair cost, insurance, on them, whatever is GST part, that also can be availed as ITC. Then A Limited appoints B Limited for laying pipelines inside the factory premises, which results into mobile property, for which A Limited purchased pipelines for 12 lakhs plus GST at 12%. On completion of works contract, charged 2,50,000 plus 18%. Find the eligible ITC. Sir, here the answer given is wrong. Why? On works contract, yes, the input tax is blocked. Either it is for on immobile property. On immobile property, if the inward is works contract or purchase of goods and service separately, also credit is blocked. Here, this is a pipeline, and on plant and machinery, ITC is available. But plant and machinery excludes pipelines laid outside factory premises. Here laid within the factory premises. So ITC available. And again, it's a mobile property. That's why. Okay. So now if you look at the computation, 12 lakhs goods into 12%, 2,50,000 works contract into 18%, total 1,89,000 available. ITC is available only when the purchase made is used in the course or furtherance of business. Furtherance of business only. Need not to look at the options also. The sentence will automatically get filled. Availability of ITC shall be considered only. You can avail ITC only on receipt of goods and on payment of taxes by supplier to government. So both should have been done. It's okay. This third point, senseless one, taken to manufacturing site and all. That's why leave. Exempted supply for the purpose of proportionate common credit includes. Sir, under 17 subsection 3, to reverse ITC and all, a new or a limited scope exempted supply definition has been given, which includes all these three: sale of land and building, sale of securities 1% of value, supply on which GST apply under RCM. Is it mandatory to capitalize capital goods in books of accounts? Sir, only if you capitalize in books of accounts, they are called capital goods. So obviously they should be capitalized. The term used in the course or furtherance of business means used or intended to be used in the course of business, nothing there. Where a supplier of goods, services pay tax under 74. Okay, like fraud intention. 129, confiscation, 129, 130, confiscation and detaining. In those cases, if any tax paid, not available for ITC. The time limit beyond which, if goods are not returned, the input sent for job worker shall be treated as supply. Sir, principal sent certain inputs to job worker. What job worker will do? He'll process them. Job work he'll do. After job work, he again returns the goods to principal. Okay. Now, principal sent only for job work activity. Na? That's why this input sent is not supply. But after carrying the job worker should return, right? So he should return them within 1 year. If he fails to do so, it will be treated as supply. So the time limit is what? 1 year. If at all it is not input, if it is capital good, then the time limit is 3 years. Provisional credit can be utilized against. Sir, if any ITC you taken provisionally, it can be adjusted only for paying self-assessed outward tax liability. The details of challans in respect of goods dispatched to a job worker or received from job worker, sent from one job worker to another, shall be included in Form GST ITC 04. Then, X-placed order for how much? 20,000. The same order is to be received on last day of every month. 2,000 pieces per month shall be received in next 10 months. So he is receiving every month 2,000. Okay, goods received in lots, batches, installments. ITC can be availed only on receipt of last lot or last installment. That is 31st October. As per recent amendments, ITC on motor vehicles having the approved seating capacity of dash shall be allowed except in few cases. 13% or more including driver. Correct it. 13% or more. 13% or less not available. 12% not available. ABC Private Limited has purchased a machine for 10 lakhs. IGST paid 18% on it, on purchase. However, on 16th October, they sold the machine for second-hand goods 7 lakh 50. Calculate the amount of ITC. Provision we discussed already. Now sum. 7 lakh 50,000 sale value into 18% or 1 lakh 80,000 minus 6 quarters into 5%, 30%. Okay. Out of these two, one is 1 lakh 26 and 1 lakh 35,000. Whichever is higher is the payable. Now here, X Private Limited merged into C Private Limited. Now can the unutilized ITC be transferred? Yes. Okay. What you should understand here, sir, on amalgamation, the credit which is related to the amalgamating company, predecessor company, shall be transferred to the successor company. Lubricant valued at 10,000 has been stock transferred from blending plant located in state of Tamil Nadu to the refinery located in the same state in the month of January. Okay. Sorry, see here. Okay. From one plant, they are sending goods to another plant. The question is, what is the value of supply? Sir, here understanding, assuming here no separate registration for this blending plant located in Tamil Nadu and refinery located in same state, we assume there are no separate registrations. If there is no separate registration within the same state, two different branches, not a supply. That's why no tax. Due to sudden fire in the storeroom, all the quantity of spares has been destroyed. What action? Nothing. No ITC. XYZ industry should not avail ITC of tax paid on the spares. Okay. The last one, sir. DD, supplier of goods, pays GST under regular scheme. He given his outward tax liability and ITC available. You should calculate. Okay. How utterly the institute has did means, okay, each and every option is wrong. Okay. How much time students might have wasted for this question actually. December 2024 exam. All these options are wrong only. The correct answer is like, take liability. 60,500, 60,500, 60,500. IGST grade first. Adjust with what? IGST. After adjusting, still you are having surplus na. That I am adjusting with SGST. Why? Because SGST is having less credit now. That's why I am doing favor to SGST. Adjusted there. Then CGST grade. CGST credit has to be. CGST grade has to be. Okay, IGST is done. Now CGST grade. Adjusted with CGST. How much balance is there? 7,500. That can be what? Carried forwarded. Now SGST grade. SGST grade can be adjusted with what? SGST. How much is there? 3,500. So both should be carried forwarded. Sir, you can argue with me. Sir, this is also correct only now. Where in rule they said like this cannot be done. Yes, nowhere they said like you can do in any way adjustment. But understand, if you are doing something, what you will think? That should result in least cash outflow. That is the best answer. This is the option which results into least cash outflow. All these options, then not only 30 options will get. But to get least cash outflow, we'll get only one option. That also be 11,000. Here, CGST balance, SGST balances may differ. But total overall, 11,000 is the credit. Tax payable will be nil. This is the correct answer. So, Lakshmi became liable to be registered under GST law on 10th November. She submitted the application for registration on 18th November. The registration certificate is issued on 9th December. What is the effective date? So the date of liability here is 10th November. Date of application is like 18th November. So there is a 30 days time gap. Within 30 days only application has been made. Where the application has been made within 30 days, then the effective date of registration is date of liability. That is 10th November 2018 only. Second question is more or like same only, same provision, just the dates change. The term casual taxable person includes. Casual taxable person means a person who occasionally supplies goods, services or both, either as principal or as an agent, who has no fixed place of business or residence in such state. Who has no fixed place of business in such state. No residence also na NRTP. Okay. So a person occasionally supplying goods, services or both in a state or union territory where he has no fixed place of business. No residence also na, then NRTP. Okay. State which of the following statements is correct. An agent supplying taxable goods on behalf of principal, where invoice is issued in the name of principal, is required to get compulsory registered? No. Where agent is raising invoice on his name, then compulsory registration. So this is incorrect. Then persons who are required to deduct TDS, whether or not they have separate registration, are compulsorily required to register. Yes, if TDS provisions are applicable now, irrespective of your normal registration, you should again register for TDS purpose. This is correct only. Then every person supplying OIDR services from a place outside India to a registered person in India is compulsorily required to get registered under GST without any threshold. No sir, he'll be registering through his agent actually. He need not to register compulsorily. His agent is also fine. Person who supplies services other than supplies under 9 subsection 5 through e-commerce operator who is required to collect TCS are compulsorily required. No. When you are making supply of service through e-co, then you will be registering only when your aggregate turnover exceeds 22 subsection 1 threshold. Aggregate turnover exceeds 22 subsection 1 threshold. That 40 lakhs, 20 lakhs, that would be there. Na? That exceeds only, you should register. That's why this is also incorrect. So which are incorrect? 1, 3, 4, 10. When an e-commerce operator is required to register under GST, when he is required to collect TCS, e-commerce operator is required to register under GST. When he is required to collect TCS, when his aggregate turnover exceeds threshold, or he is required to collect TCS and his aggregate turnover exceeds threshold, no. When he is a e-commerce operator, na mandatory, irrespective of TCS and all. E-commerce operator, na mandatory register. Then, e-way bill. E-way bill will have two parts, part A, part B. Part A will actually consist of the invoice details like who is the supplier, who is the consignor, consignee, value of goods, okay, whether it is a supplier or not, all those things. Whereas part B consists of transporter details. The validity period of e-way bill is set to start when both the parts are filled. E-way bill generation facility will be blocked. When it is blocked, when a person has not furnished the returns for a consecutive period of, consecutively for 2 months not filed returns, not months actually, tax period. The difference between month and tax periods now. For a quarterly filing person, you don't refer months, right? That's why tax period, the frequency for which you will file a return, it could be month or it could be quarter. What shall be the validity of e-way bill in case of vehicles other than over-dimensional cargo? 1 day per 200 kilometers. Over-dimensional cargo na 1 day per 20 kilometers. Which document is to be issued by consignor instead of tax invoice for transportation of goods for job work? So job work, when goods sent for job work, it is not a supply. Not supply. Since not a supply, na invoice is not there. Only on supply, invoice is not there. Then what to be raised? Delivery challan shall be raised. What? Delivery challan shall be raised. Then, in case proper officer checks the goods in movement, then what document shall be required from delivery challan to satisfy the proper officer where the value of goods exceeds 50,000? Sir, here while calculating value 50,000, it shall include GST as well. It should include GST as well. E-way bill shall include GST. It's the only place I think. Okay. So along with delivery challan, you should have e-way bill. What are the documents required by an unregistered transporter for getting enrolled under e-way bill system? PAN, Aadhaar, both. Can validity of e-way bill can be extended? Yes, but only in exceptional cases or in case of transshipment. What is the relevance of part A in e-way bill? All those goods details, particulars, HSN code, consignor details, consignee details, value of those goods, description of those goods, all those things. It is useful for temporarily storing the document details on the e-way bill portal. For transporter in e-way bill, nothing, sir. Okay. Amar generated e-way bill at 12 hours. Early morning after 12:10 a.m. on 16 September. When shall be the first day be considered? The date of raising e-way bill shall be ignored. That means the next day has to be counted as first day, 17th September. In a typical bill to ship to model, sir, I cannot read the whole question. I understood by looking at that one only. In a bill to ship to model, let's say A is there, B is there, C is there. C asked B, B asked A. A raised invoice to B, B raised invoice to C. But what B said? The goods are sent directly to C. Goods are sent directly to C. In this case, there are two supplies, A to B, B to C. How many e-way bills are needed? Sir, understand, e-way bill is a evidence of movement of goods, not for supply. So, how many movements are there? Only one movement. So, one e-way bill is enough. Then, TDS and TCS. What is the rate of TDS? The rate of TDS is like 1%. The rate of TDS is like how much? 1%. 1% CGST and 1% SGST. What is the due date for payment of TDS? The TDS has to be deposited within 10 days of the subsequent month. Within 10 days. Every registered person required to deduct tax at source under section 51 shall furnish return for the month in which such details have been made within 10 days after the end of such month. Sir, TDS applicable person have to file within 10 days. Which one? GSTR 7. GSTR 7. Where an e-commerce operator remit TCS to the government. E-commerce operator also shall remit by 10th of the end of the month, by 10 days from the end of the month. Where an e-commerce operator is required to register under GST. Sir, actually the answer is wrong here. When he is required to collect TCS under his aggregate turnover exceeds, no. It is mandatory to register irrespective of the threshold. Okay. Okay, he need to register mandatorily, sir. So this option is wrong. Which is correct? This one only. We already discussed in the registration chapter as well, right? This one. Then, Mr. Ram registered in Chennai has supplied goods to Kochi's Fisheries Department for a total contract value of how much? For a total contract value of how much? For a total contract value of 2,65,000. Sir, when TDS provisions are applicable, when the contract value is greater than 2,50,000. Here, this is inclusive of GST. If you exclude GST, then it should be within 2,50,000. TDS is not applicable. GH, an e-commerce operator, has a registration for TCS. It wants to close the said registration. What is the position relating to cancellation of TCS registration? Okay. So TCS registration, voluntary cancellation is not possible for TCS registration. Only a proper officer can cancel such registration after inquiry or proceedings as per Rule 12.3 along with Rule 22 and in compliance with Section 29. So registration can be cancelled only by GST authority upon inquiry or pursuant any proceeding under the law. So it cannot be cancelled voluntarily whenever you want. DF Bank is a banking company and is an entity exempted from mandatory generation of invoice. I mean, this is about e-invoice, sir. For banks, actually, e-invoice not applicable. E-invoice is not applicable to banks. Not only to banks, financial institutions, then to cinema, multiplex theaters who are engaged in transportation of passengers or goods, local authorities, units in SEZ. So those people are not required to generate e-invoice. Okay, but bank here it's not providing banking operations. Here it is doing what? It is supplying bullion. It is supplying what? Bullion to a client. So the position as regard to generation of invoice is like DF bank is not required to generate mandatory invoice in this case also. So if it is a bank, whatever it does, e-invoice is not applicable. RT Limited, a registered person in India having annual turnover of 3.2 crores has filed the annual GST return for the financial year 22-23 belatedly. The amount of late fee is, sir, actually this fellow, what is his annual? So the late fee for annual return for a taxpayer having aggregate turnover of up to rupees 5 crore in the relevant financial year is. So the late fee up to 5 crore is like rupees 50 for every day, sir. This 50 is like together CGST plus SGST and this 0.04% also together CGST plus SGST of turnover in the state. Rupees 100 for every day subject to a maximum of 0.25. Okay, that and all is not relevant. So this is the late fee currently applicable. Every registered person whose aggregate turnover during a financial year exceeds 2 crores shall get his accounts audited and furnish a copy of audited annual accounts under reconciliation statement. Sir, all this is now omitted. Audit is not required. Only reconciliation statement is needed, that also self-certified. Only reconciliation statement, that also self-certified. Not requirement of audit. No requirement of audit. Then that also in which form? GSTR 9C. A registered supplier who regularly files monthly GSTR return has paid GST of 72,000 pertaining to the month of May. When? 10th July. So May it has to be paid by 20th June. But when it is paid? 10th July. How many days delay? 20 days. So for 20 days, 72,000 into 20 by 365 into 18%. The interest is like 710. The due date of filing GSTR 6 ISD return 13th of the next month. GSTR 6 has to be filed by 13th of the next month. A registered supplier who regularly files monthly GST return has paid GST of 85,000 pertaining to the month of June. The total interest payable for delayed remittance is like
the total interest payable for delayed remittance of GST is like how much, sir? Sir, here this is wrong because they have taken 20 days. Actually, they should take how many? 21 days. So calculate by taking 21 days. That answer only correct, not this one. Okay, this was taken wrongly by taking 20 days. Okay, they simply copied and changed the dates here. But here, June month, here July month is there in between. Okay, so that's why they missed there. Danube, an e-commerce operator, provide taxable services to Indian residents through e-commerce portal. It intends to provide a taxable service to a recipient on 28th December 2022. The need for furnishing address of the recipient along with PIN code arises. Okay, he is an e-commerce operator providing taxable services through e-commerce operator portal. It intends to provide taxable service to a recipient on 28th December. The need for furnishing address of the recipient along with PIN code arises when the value of taxable services exceeds 50,000. When the value of taxable services exceeds 50,000. Annual audit report form GSTR 9C. Form GSTR 9C is required to be certified by practicing. Okay, nothing to be certified, sir. Self-certified only. Annual return is a summary of GSTR 1, GSTR 3B, GSTR 4. All of the above. What is the time limit for furnishing the details of outward supplies in form GSTR 1 for each quarter or tax period by a registered person opting for a QRMP scheme? If a registered person is opting for QRMP scheme, then the time limit for furnishing the details of outward supplies in GSTR 1 is like 13th day of the month succeeding such a tax period. 13th day of the month succeeding such tax period. Okay, QRMP applicable, then by when he has to file, sir? 13th. Then a registered person intending to avail QRMP for the quarter July to September can exercise this option from his option from when? 1st May to 31st July. Sir, understand? He wants to there one July, August, September. What is the provision? Preceding quarter. April, May, June. The provision says like preceding quarter second month first day, that is May 1st. To current quarter first month last day, that is what? July 31st. So this is the time period within which he can opt for QRMP. Details of TCS furnished by the deductor in GSTR 8 is made available to each of the deductee. Sir, if any TCS is deducted to you or TDS is deducted to you, it reflects to you in cash ledger, not credit ledger, cash ledger. The due date of rectification of any error or omission in GSTR 8, it's the same as like GSTR 1, sir. 30th November of the end of financial year or actual date of furnishing of annual statement, whichever is earlier. The registered person required to furnish return for every quarter under Proviso 239 subsection 1, nothing but this is QRMP. He may consider necessary for the first and second months. Sir, QRMP person has invoice furnishing facility. By using invoice furnishing facility, he can upload invoices. So up to what value he can upload invoices? Up to 50 lakhs. Up to 50 lakhs per month he can upload invoices. That is the answer here. That is the question here. Annual return is summary of all of the above. Moving to refunds chapter. Refund application is to be filed before the expiry of how many years? 2 years from the relevant date. 2 years before the expiry of 2 years from the relevant date. And refund shall not be paid where the amount of refund is less than 1,000. Okay. And refunds you can ask on provisional basis when you have made zero rated supplies. Okay, when you made zero rated supplies, nothing but na export you have made or supplies to SEZ you have made, then you can ask for refund provisional basis. How much can be allowed as provisional? 90%. Okay. Is the SEZ developer or SEZ unit receiving zero rated supply eligible to claim refund of IGST paid by the registered taxable person on such supply? No. The other person only will be availing. A registered taxable person is eligible to claim refund in export of goods and services in the following cases. When he is eligible to claim refund when under bond without payment of IGST and claim refund of unutilized ITC. Sir, you have executed a bond and you didn't pay taxes on outward supply. So what you do? On your inwards, whatever is the tax that you, whatever is the ITC that you will ask for refund. Next one. You on export, you are not executing bond. You are paying taxes by using the ITC. Now whatever the tax you paid, that can be applied for refund. Both A and B. The supply of goods to SEZ unit is treated as dash in the hands of supplier. The supply of goods to SEZ unit is treated as export only, supplies to SEZ. Refunds will not be allowed in case of export made on which export duty is levied, exports made without payment of taxes, inverted duty structure, none of the above. Only when in case of exports, where export duty is leviable, refund is not allowed. Where any order sanctioning the amount of refund is due to the said applicant on a provisional basis, then it shall be made within how many days? 7 days. So provisional basis refund, the provisional refund has to be given within 7 days from date of acknowledgement. 7 days. The time limit available to proper officer to pass final order accepting the refund. Within 60 days from application, you need to process the refund order. Otherwise, interest applicable from 61st day at 6% per annum. Okay. And refunds are, whatever the refund, first it should be given to consumer welfare fund only. So only if it is on account of zero rated supplies or in cases of anywhere where there is no unjust enrichment, then only it will be given to the applicant. So they'll check for unjust enrichment. If there is unjust enrichment, then the amount will be transferred to consumer welfare. Okay, so now assume amount transferred to consumer welfare fund. The amount transferred to consumer welfare fund can be invested. Yes. Why they'll keep the fund idle? They'll invest in somewhere. Yes, such amount can be invested by central and state government or the authorized persons So his annual turnover is how much? 3.2 crores. His annual turnover is how much? 3.2 crores, which is less than 5 crores. So what is the amount he need to pay then? 3.2 crores into 0.4%. This is together CGST and SGST, 1,28,000. Or for every day of delay, if less than 5 crores na aggregate turnover, 25 per day. Number of days 43. So it is like 1,075 CGST. Another 25 for SGST. So 1,075. So the late fee to be paid is 2,150. Krish Enterprises registered in Karnataka is engaged in supply of various goods and services exclusively to government departments, agencies, etc. and persons notified under section 51. It has made the following. Supply of taxable goods to Karnataka Office of National Housing Bank, a society established by Government of India under the Societies Registration Act 1860. What is the total contract value? Sir, here the supply of goods is to whom? Karnataka Office of National Housing Bank, a society established by government. TDS is applicable. Contract value is more than 2.5 lakhs. TDS applicable. Payment may be less than 2.5, but the contract value is more than 2.5 lakhs. TDS applicable. On what TDS has to be deducted? On this payment amount, 55,000. How much? 1% CGST, 1% SGST. 550 and 550. Then, on what value TDS needs to be deducted? Contract value excluding tax. Contract value excluding tax. What is e-commerce? E-commerce. Supply of goods and services on an electronic platform for commerce other than e-commerce operator. No meaning at all. Supply of goods and services on an electronic platform for commerce including the e-commerce operator. Supply of goods and services on an electronic platform for commerce. No. This seems logical. See. Supply of goods or services are both including digital products or digital or electronic network. This is called e-commerce. A person who digital or electronic facility or platform, a person who who owns, operates, manages digital or electronic facility or platform for e-commerce shall be called as e-commerce operator. Owns, operates, manages, all the three. So any of the above. At what rate should be the TCS has to be collected? Sir, it is amended 0.25% CGST and 0.25% SGST. 0.25 and 0.25 CGST and SGST. You cannot take together. It's not like 0.5 and 0.5. It is 0.25 and 0.25 only. Is there any threshold limit for applying the provisions of section 52 for collecting TCS? No threshold at all. 100 rupees also TCS applicable. When will section 52 apply, or when should the e-commerce operator liable to collect TCS? E-commerce operator shall collect tax in respect of all supplies made through it. E-commerce operator shall collect tax at source only if the supplier of good is registered. E-commerce operator shall collect TCS on the net taxable value of supplies made through it by other supplier where the consideration is received through e-commerce operator. The consideration should be flown through e-commerce operator, then TCS is applicable. Every e-commerce operator shall file a return. In which format? GSTR 8. When should the e-commerce operator collect TCS? When he collects the consideration on behalf of supplier. Sir, from customer, eco will collect consideration. You order food in Zomato, sir. Who is collecting money? Hotel guy, Zomato na? Zomato. So now Zomato is collected. So while it is making the payment,
So Zomato actually covered under 9 subsection 5. TCS not applicable. Let us take example of Amazon. Okay, when he collects the consideration on behalf of the supplier in respect of sub-supply. On the date when the supplier makes suppliers through operator, no. Day on which operator remits the consideration, no. When he collects the consideration, he na e-commerce operator. When a supplier making supplies through e-commerce operator opt to not register. When the e-commerce operator is not required to collect TCS and when the supplier does not cross the threshold limit under section 2022. Sir, 1 second, sir. Let me clarify this. Sir, I have corrected in the file also. What we are discussing previously is only wrong. So I did again the research. What 24 subsection 10 says like, e-commerce operator is required to collect TCS irrespective of threshold. Collect TCS, then mandatory registration. If he is not required to collect TCS, then not required to collect TCS and turnover is. Whereas if you see at 24 subsection 11, e-commerce operator is required to pay tax under 9 subsection 5. Okay, so if TCS is not applicable and threshold, here they didn't mention about threshold. That means combined reading. Okay, you put them in mixie and observe that. Then you will understand like, okay, when the turnover is within threshold and TCS is not applicable, e-commerce operator not required to register mandatorily. Understand right? See, we are into the chapter now, assessment and audit. In respect of a consignment supplied on 21st August, provisional assessment was resorted by a person who files return on monthly basis. The assessment was finalized on 20th November and tax became liable to pay of 10,000. The taxpayer paid this amount on 20th December. The number of days for which the taxpayer is liable to pay interest is like, sir, see, 21st August is the actual supply made. That means the tax should have been paid by 20th September. But after finalization of provisional assessment, the tax is finally paid on when? 20th September. So the difference is like 91 days. So the interest is applicable for 91 days. Within what time the best judgment assessment should be completed? The time limit. The time limit is like, for the financial year, let's say the tax not paid, short paid related to 25-26. What is the due date of filing of annual return for this? 31st December. That is 31st December 2026. 31st December of succeeding financial year. 31st December 2026. From there 5 years. That means 31st December 3031. So 5 years from the date specified for furnishing the annual return for the financial year to which the tax not paid relates. Then GHY Company Limited appeals chapter, sir, received an adjudication order passed by the Assistant Commissioner on 11th October under section 73, wherein it was decided as follows. IGST to be paid is 8 lakhs, interest 35,000, penalty 50,000. Okay, it was the order passed by Assistant Commissioner. Now company wants to file an appeal with the appellate authority. Okay, appellate authority. So now when it is going for an appeal with appellate authority, how much is the pre-deposit to be made? So the pre-deposit to be made is like full amount of tax, interest, penalty admitted. How much admitted? Sir, see, if company appeals against part of the demanded amount, say tax 5 lakhs, interest 20,000 and penalty 30,000. Okay, against part of the demanded amount. Okay, it is a full amount of, if company appeals against part of the demand amount, I mean it has appealed for 5 lakhs, interest 20,000 and penalty 30,000. So how much is accepted? 3 lakhs. Here like 20,000 contended, now how much accepted? 15,000. 50,000, how much contended? 30. So how much is accepted? 20,000. So then 3 lakhs, 3 lakh 20, 3 lakh 35,000 plus 10% of the disputed tax, 5 lakhs into 10%, 50,000. So the total pre-deposit to be made is 3 lakh 85,000. Then, sir, even go and refer the pre-deposit with respect to tribunal also. That is also important. I'm not referring because very little time, but refer this one as well. Pre-deposit to tribunal. QRP Company Limited was aggrieved by 3 different orders of appellate authority on 25th April and want to file 3 different appeals before tribunal. Sir, when you are making 3 different appeals, you need to pay the filing fees for appeal separately only, you cannot combine. So they are asking, you are required to calculate the total amount of fees. Sir, fees is different, pre-deposit is different. So this is fees. Okay, fees, pre-deposit, these are only important in the appeals chapter. Okay, see, the minimum should be paid is like 5,000 for the appeal. Maximum to be paid is like how much? 25,000. And for every 1,00,000. Actually, the fees is like for every 1,00,000, but minimum 5,000, maximum 25,000. So on the first one, it is less than 1 lakh na, minimum how much? 5,000. Second one, 18 lakhs into 18 lakhs na 18,000. 42 lakhs na 42,000 ille. Okay, you're not 42,000. What you should take here? You should take only restricted to 25,000. So 25, 18, 5. It's like 48,000, sir. Okay. Why answer is given 44,000? In December 23, that 44,000 is correct only. Later on, this minimum 5,000 fees also has been introduced. That's why here previously they have been taken as 1,000 here, but now it is 5,000. Then advanced ruling. Who can ask for an advanced ruling? So advanced ruling can be made by a person registered under the act, a person who is desirous to register under this act. Where shall be the advanced ruling authority be located? In every state and union territory. The advanced ruling authority for advanced ruling shall comprises of whom? Sir, it comprises of one member from the officer of central tax, one from the officers of state and union territory tax, one from central, one from state. Okay. Then the appellate authority for advanced ruling. Appellate authority, sir. This is authority for advanced ruling. This is appellant authority for advanced ruling. Chief Commissioner of Central Tax as designated by the board and Commissioner of State Tax having jurisdiction of the applicant. Central Tax Chief Commissioner, State Tax Commissioner. Okay, they will be there. Who may make an application for advanced ruling? Any applicant. Okay, applicant or jurisdictional officer. Both applicant and jurisdictional officer. Sir, actually advanced ruling will be made by the applicant only, not by jurisdictional officer. The appeal can be made by jurisdictional officer also. Within how many days the authority shall pronounce its decision for advanced ruling? Within 90 days, it has to give its order or pronouncing. Who can appeal for appellate authority for advanced ruling? See, I said na, appeal can be made by jurisdictional officer or applicant, whereas application for advanced ruling can be made only by applicant. Then appeal for appellate authority for advanced ruling can be filed within how many days from the authority for advanced ruling order? Within 30 days. Under what circumstances the members of the appellate authority deem that no advanced ruling can be made? Sir, let's say, okay, under authority for advanced ruling there are 2 members. Okay, and appellate authority for advanced ruling there are another 2 members. Now they cannot come to a common conclusion. Okay, so still they'll differ on points. When they differ on points, it's not like majority and all. If the members are differ on any point, then the points referred to in appeal, then it will be considered as like there is no advance ruling. There is no advance ruling has been provided. Then who has the power to amend the order issued under this advance ruling? Sorry, under 98 or 101. Such order issued under 98 101 can be rectified, which is apparent on record. By advanced ruling authority, appellate authority for advanced ruling, or authority as the case may be, the appellate authority. Sir, here this is not related to advanced ruling. The order issued under 98 or 101 can be rectified by whom? An authority as the case may be, nothing but appellate authority. Who can apply for rectification of error which is on record, apparent on record? Then applicant can apply, concerned officer or advanced ruling authority can on their own motion or own accord, they can rectify. In applications can seek advanced ruling in relation to supply of goods which are going to be undertaken, proposed to be undertaken, or already undertaken also, you can go for advanced ruling. Authority for advanced ruling and appellate authority for advanced ruling shall be constituted both under central GST as well as under state GST. An advanced ruling can be sought by a registered person or a person desirous of obtaining registration. A member of authority for advanced ruling shall not be below the rank of joint commissioner. So the member should not be below the rank of joint commissioner. Appellate authority for advanced ruling na chief commissioner and commissioner. The fee for filing an application for advanced ruling is 5,000 each under CGST and SGST. The appellate authority for advanced ruling shall comprises of chief commissioner of central tax as designated by board and commissioner of state. So both from central, chief commissioner, state commissioner. Appeal will be, appellate authority for advanced ruling can be filed within how many days? Within 30 days. Within how many days? Within 30.
So under customs, sir, quickly we can finish off, sir, customs. 1 lakh metric tons goods are imported for 10 lakh, but goods actually received are 95,000. You received 95,000, pay tax only on 95,000. So How much is the value liable to duty? 9,50,000. Then assessable value of goods is 5 lakhs. As per bill of entry for warehousing, BCD is 15%. When they are cleared from warehouse, the rate is 10%. Sir, on warehoused goods, on which day's customs duty rate you have to consider? The BCD rate as on the bill of entry filed on the date of removal from warehouse. Ex-bond bill of entry. So that means 10% has to be taken. So 5 lakhs into 10% plus SWS at again 10% on it. So it comes to 55,000. Then calculate FOB from following. X factory price 10,000. Expenses up to loading 12,000. Post importation cost and all will not add. So 10,000 plus 12,000 it is 22,000. Then calculate cost of transport and handling under Rule 10 to A. Sir, please don't confuse this. Rule 10 to A is a proviso where you don't know individual FOB value. You don't know individual FOB value nor freight value. What you know is like FOB plus insurance combined value. Then how to find out freight? Apply 20% on FOB plus insurance also. That's only it. Okay, $1,000. The same way applicable, insurance value don't know. FOB individually don't know. But FOB plus freight is known. Then 1.125% on such FOB plus freight. Then from following data, find out the assessable value of imported goods. Cost of the machine at the factory of exporting country 5,000. Transport charges 250. Handling charges 25. Buying commission we shall not add. Freight charges from export country. Freight charges from export country $500. Exchange rate to be considered is 45. Sir, first, what is this X factory price? This is called what? X factory price. Then you should add handling charges and transportation in the export country. So this 5,275 is what? FOB. Then freight you should add. What is the freight here? 500 is given a 30 add. And then insurance, even though it is not given, you should take what? 1.125% of FOB. Okay, then you should multiply the total with 45, sir. But I didn't got the answer. Okay, if you got the answer, please comment. Okay. Compute value. Machinery imported. Okay, I didn't got the answer, sir. That's why I took none of the above. Okay. And I'm already tried to do it 3 or 4 times. That's why I'm not doing it. Okay. I already spent like almost 4-5 minutes on that. Okay. Only that one, sir. It's not like I'll leave every MCQ. That one I tried actually. And maybe I didn't even find any logic there also. Compute value. Machinery imported from USA by air, $8,000. Accessories, $2,000. Air freight, $2,400. Insurance, not given. And local agent commission is 18,600. Now see, sir. 8,000 you should take. What? FOB value. Plus accessories 2,000, 10,000. Convert into Indian currency, 4,80,000. Then add this Indian currency commission paid also. Because all these, under Rule 10, there are 7 items to be added, sir. All those commission and brokerage, packing cost, then commission and brokerage, packing cost, inspection charges, then designing charges. Okay, those items you should add. So 4,98,600. So for this 4,98,600, now you should add freight. Here it is air freight. So air freight na actual or 20% of FOB customs. So which is 99,720. Then insurance not given. What you should take? 1.25% of FOB customs. So it comes to 6,03,929. Then determine the price to be taken for computing deductive value under Rule 7. Sir, under Rule 7 deductive value, you should take the price at which highest number of units, greatest aggregate number of quantity of units has been sold. Greatest aggregate quantity of units has been sold. So what is the amount here, sir? It is like 90. 80 units at price 90. Next, computed value does not consist of. So computed value, okay, which you calculate under the Rule 8. Okay. Cost of materials and fabrications or other processing employed in producing the imported goods. Reasonable profit of foreign exporter. Under Rule 2 expenses you should add. But what you should not add? Reasonable profit of Indian importer you shall not add. Then the proper officer shall have the power to raise doubts on the truth and accuracy based on certain reasons, which may include abnormal discount or abnormal reduction of price, Sale involves special discounts. So both A and B. Anti-dumping duty is what? Lower of dumping margin or injury margin. Lower of dumping margin or injury margin. Then 2 set of sales were affected by Boomerang Limited. First set 1000 units at 190, second set 900 units at 200. In terms of rule 7, the unit price should be greatest aggregate quantity sold, the price at which highest number of units sold in aggregate. So 1000, that's why 190 we should take. Then as per Customs Tariff Act, the following is not considered to be a way that circumventing anti-dumping duty. I mean, you want to overshadow or you want to defeat the anti-dumping provisions and want to import goods. Somehow, some malpractice, some kind of fraud thing you want to do. So which does not amount to fraud. Okay. Altering description or altering the article compositions and all for exempting from anti-dumping duty, changing the country origin or bringing them in unassembled or disassembled form, all those. Whereas procuring the goods through Indian subsidiary, which is an SEZ unit, does not amount to circumvention of anti-dumping duty. Then the relevant date for determining the rate of exchange in case of import good is what? Date of presentation of bill of entry. Whereas for BCD rate it is what? Date of presentation of bill of entry or date of entry inwards granted, whichever is latter. Okay, if it is direct home consumption. The charging section for customs is section 12. Then baggage. Does adjudicating authority include value of personal computer 1,10,000, personal effects 60,000 not taxable, and he has duty free allowance of 1 lakh. So what you will do? You will adjust 1 lakh with this 1,10,000. So how much is the baggage leviable to duty? 10,000. 10,000. Sir, actually it is like 50,000 only, but in question they said 1 lakh, that's why I am adjusting 1 lakh. After visiting UK for 10 days, K brought to India a laptop. Sir, laptop is exempted under baggage for a person whose age is greater than 18 years. Okay, so laptop exempted. Personal effects exempted. So he brought personal computer. On personal computer 72,000, adjust GFA 50,000 because he is coming from a country other than Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. Okay, so 22,000 into 38.5%. 35% is the BCD rate and 10% social welfare surcharge. Then a gentleman passenger returning to India after residing for more than 1 year. He brought jewelry as his bona fide baggage. To what extent it is exempted? 20 grams or 50,000. 20 grams or with a value cap of 50,000. So up to 50,000 he can bring. If he stays more than a year, and that in jewelry form. Lady passenger, it's like 40 grams or 1 lakh. 40 grams or 1 lakh. 40 grams but capped to 1 lakh only. A person who is engaged in profession abroad. So he was there residing. Now transferring his residence to India after stay in abroad more than 2 years. After stay in abroad more than 2 years. He can bring what? Household items without payment of duty up to. More than 2 years, he can bring up to 5 lakhs. Then next question also, sir. He stay for 36 months and coming back to India. Originally stays abroad. Now transferring his residence. Again, more 36 months now, more than 2 years. How much? 5 lakhs. Raj, resident of India, returned back to India from London after 2 years of stay and brought jewelry 42,000, 18 grams. Sir, Raj, what is the duty payable by Mr. Raj? Nothing, sir. Why? After 2 years is coming now, 20 grams, still 20 grams it is allowed. He brought only 18 grams now, so it is allowed, exempted. What is the GFA for passengers coming from Nepal and Bhutan? From Nepal and Bhutan 15,000 only, but they are coming through land route nil. Nepal and Bhutan, from Nepal and Bhutan they should come through a flight only. So if they are coming through land route, then it is not allowed, nil. Annexure 1 include firearms, cartridges in excess of 50, cigarettes in excess of 100, cigars in excess of 25, tobacco in excess of 125 grams, alcohol in excess of 2 liters, jewelry in any form, gold in any form other than jewelry, then LCD, LED. So all these will be coming under the Annexure 1. Then bona fide baggage means, bona fide baggage a person's personal belongings, travel souvenirs. So these are exempted actually. Then duty drawback. The maximum percentage of duty drawback allowed is like 33%. You can claim maximum duty drawback of 33% only. So this is under 75, not under 74. Okay. Once dash is cleared for home consumption, once a bill of entry is cleared for home consumption, the bond submitted by the importer gets debited automatically in the customs system, and the details shall be made available electronically to the jurisdictional customs officer. Sir, when you warehouse goods, you will file bill of entry now. But once you file bill of entry for home consumption, the bond amount, the bond submitted will automatically get debited. I mean, it does not having effect. Following is not a condition precedent for granting duty drawback for re-export of goods. So it's not a must condition to grant duty drawback on re-export. Goods must be clearly identifiable. Yes, as per section 74, duty drawback. Goods must be clearly identifiable. Goods should have been actually imported earlier. Import duty might have been paid. Yes, correct only. Goods are actually re-exported. Correct only. But this one is the wrong. Entire lot need not to be sent. A part of goods sent also you can avail duty drawback partly. The following condition is not a precedent. The same thing, sir. Then under the Customs Act, duty drawback is permissible where the goods originally imported or re-exported within a period of 2 years. Within a period of 2 years. However, with the CBIC approval, they can be sent. They can be extended up to 4 years. See, let us start with the chapter warehousing. Okay, with the same Josh. How we have started the first class, the same Josh should be there. Okay, now section 58 of the Principal Commissioner of Customs or Commissioner of Customs may subject to such conditions prescribe license A dash wherein dutiable goods imported by or on behalf of licensee may be deposited. If you got the license, only your goods can be deposited. Which warehouse? Private warehouse. Dash grants the permission for manufacturing other operations in a bonded facility. Who is the one grants the permission for manufacturing, sir? Commissioner of Customs grants the permission for manufacturing other options in the bonded facility. Yet present, manufacture and other operations in which bonded warehouse is not allowed. Sir, manufacturing and other operations are allowed currently only in private warehouses. So on public and special bonded warehouses, not allowed. Then RT, a non-SEZ unit, warehoused the goods on 12th December and removed them after 120 days. Okay, sir, when they are removed after 90 days, then interest is leviable from 91st day. The customs duty payable as on the date of warehousing is 2,30,000. Whereas on the date of removal it is 3,20,000. What is the interest payable? Sir, understand, where the goods are warehoused, which is the duty to be paid? As per the rate, whichever is applicable on the date of removal only. That means 3,20,000 is only the duty to be paid. But on which interest has to be levied? And what is the rate of interest? First, rate of interest is 15%. 15%. But on what amount interest has to be calculated? Interest has to be calculated on the amount which was there on the date of warehousing. Duty payable is 3,20,000 only, but interest levy 15% on customs duty payable on date of warehousing, that is on 2,30,000. Important one, remember. Then, where goods are transferred from one bonded facility to another, incidented to pay deferred duty is also transferred. Okay, incidents to pay deferred duty is also transferred. Once goods are transferred from one facility to another, then even the incidents to pay also transfer. Then preservation of physical and digital records by the licensees. If you are a warehouse person, public or private warehouse, okay, namely owner of warehoused goods, should maintain the records and accounts accurately and preserve them for a minimum 5 years. From which day? From the date of removal of goods from the facility. So just because the goods left, you cannot okay, preservation of physical and digital records by the licensee, namely owner of warehoused goods, need to maintain update records. So understand here, minimum 5 years from the date of removal of goods from the facility. From the date of removal of goods from the facility. Preservation of physical and digital records by the licensee has to be 5 years. Then into trade facilitation, sir. This is the standard MCQ, sir. Full form of IAN. What is IAN? Import of concessional. Okay, import of. Sir, IAN, sir, they have been asked so many times in so many MTBs and all, it is there. So, import at concessional rate identification number, IIN. Okay, what is IIN? Import at concessional. See, IIN stands for what? Import at concessional rate identification number. Import at concessional rate identification number, not import of goods, not. Import at concessional rate identification number. Then, the importer who intends to avail the benefit of an exemption notification shall mention what? His IIN. To get this concessional rate, he should mention his IIN and the bill of entry. IIN and bill of entry should be mentioned to get the concessional rate benefit. Then the importer shall submit a monthly statement on the common portal. If he is getting the benefit of concessional rate, he should file a common statement IGCR3. Okay, IGCR3, import goods at concessional rate of duty. By when? 10th of the following month. By 10th he has to file. Then in the context of Indian Customs Law, ICMAI means Indian Customs Electronic Data Interchange Gateway. Indian Customs Electronic Data Interchange Gateway. It is what? Imported concessional rate identification number. To get this exemption number, IIN is needed, bill of entry is needed, and then a statement form has to be filed every month, IGCR3, by 10th of the following month. Then FTP. One of the following capital goods ineligible for the purpose of EPCG. Second-hand goods, computer softwares, A and B, none of the above. Second-hand goods are ineligible for EPCG. Import under EPCG shall be subject to an export obligation equivalent to dash times of tax saved, 6 times of duty saved. Under EPCG, the export obligation, okay, subject to the export obligation, like how much export you should do, 6 times of duty saved. Then only projects having a minimum investment of dash in plant and machinery shall be considered as an establishment as EOU. However, board may reduce that amount, sir, but in general 1 crore should be there in plant and machinery to consider for an establishment in EOU. Then under FTP, export and import of goods are broadly categorized. Which of the following is correct? Free goods, restricted goods. Free, generally allowed to import without payment of any customs duty. Sir, it's wrong, sir. Free means no authorization, no payment of customs duty, not. Okay, free means no authorization. Restricted, that means banned. No. Restricted means what? You can import them with authorization. Restricted goods are allowed to be imported only if used for re-export. No, wrong. Restricted goods are allowed to be imported or exported only with authorization. So only this is correct. Minimum value addition that is required under advance authorization scheme. Under advance authorization scheme, if you import 100 rupees, you should export a minimum of 115 rupees. So the value addition to be made is 15%. Then the mandatory documents required for export of goods. Sir, for export, bill of entry is not required, na? Import bill of entry, export no bill of entry. So that's why mandatory document is what? Shipping bill or bill of export. Then DGFT. Who is called DGFT? Director General of Foreign Trade. Through a notification, impose restrictions on export and import necessary. Okay, he could impose restrictions for what? Prevention of use of present labor, or for production of national treasures, and for production of trade of fissionable material. I mean this explosives, RDX, nuclear weapons. So these kind of things can be restricted. So all of these can be restricted. Then in case of second-hand goods, import policy is restricted. Yes, with respect to second-hand goods, there are certain restrictions. What? Those are second-hand photocopier machines, ACs. For them it is restricted. Photocopier machines, digital multifunction print or copy machines. So these are not allowed without authorization if they are used goods or second-hand capital goods. Refurbishment allowed. Second-hand goods for repair, reconditioning and re-engineering. I mean after that they will be sent back. So these two cases, I mean in the first case only it is restricted. In advance authorization, what is the value addition? 15%. Then trading units undertaking to export may be set up under EOU, HTP, STP, BTP for. Sir, first of all, trading units are not eligible to set up a unit under EOU, HTP, STP, BTP. Either they should be a manufacturer or service provider. So trading units are not eligible. That's why none of this. Next. With respect to interpretation of any policy in FTP, the doubt arises. Who is the one take cares? Okay, it will be forwarded to DGFT and DGFT decision is final and binding. Then, first, SEZ that was set up in India near Kandala port. Okay, the first SEZ, where it is set, sir? The Kandala SEZ near Kandala port, Gujarat. It was set up in first Kandala SEZ near Gujarat. Then, goods and services coming to SEZ from DTA. Okay, from DTA to SEZ, it is what? Export. Then from SEZ to DTA, import. Then status holders na, like there will be certain limit of export, sir. You go and watch Superthon, sir. There the limits are given clearly. So if you are a status holder, you are export freely items on free of cost basis for export promotion subject to an annual limit. If you are a status holder, you can export freely also as samples to promote much more your exports. How much? Up to 1 crore or 2% of average annual export realization. If you realize every year 200 crores into 2% or 1 crore, that means 4 crores or 1 crore, whichever is lower. The companies or industries, so this also being asked so many times, the companies and industries allow maximum of their employees to work from home. But these software companies are majorly in SEZs, remember. With prior permission, temporarily remove goods such as laptops. Sir, if work from home is allowed, the laptops will be moved from SEZ. When they are going from SEZ to DTA, actually it is what? Import. But these are allowed to be DTA without payment of duty. How much? 25% of their total. Allow a maximum of their employees to work from home along with prior permission to temporarily remove goods. How much? 25% of their employees can take their laptops and go without payment of customs duty. Then, in case SEZ developer sends the proposal to whom? State government. Proposal to state government. Then state government forwards it to whom? Board of approval along with recommendation. So state government will forwards within how many days? 45 days it should forward to board of approval along with it recommendation. 45 days. So see also 45 days, 55 days. When an SEZ supplies goods, services to DTA, it is exempt from paying taxes. Although receiver is have to pay because, sir, from SEZ, if any service is supplied to DTA, so to DTA it is import. On import of service, tax is payable under RCM. Even goods also, recipient only will pay. Under Customs Act, which of them is not a mandatory document? Sir, very important. 3 documents are important, mandatory documents for import. Bill of lading, airway bill, lorry bill or railway bill. Sir, based on the mode of transport. Bill of lading na through ship, airway bill na through flight, lorry receipt through lorry, railway receipt through railway, postal receipt through postal. So out of these only one is applicable. Then with respect to invoice and then bill of entry. This bill of export is related to export now, so this is not required. In case of export, this is not needed, the other 3 are needed. See, very important answer this also. Under customs law, the value of goods to be exported as bona fide gift. Okay, in a licensing year. In a licensing year, you can export without any payment of duty also up to 5 lakhs as gift. Up to 5 lakhs as gift. This also repeated so many times. 5 lakhs as gift up to. Samples will also be there, sir. Samples now up to 3 lakhs only. Then, in the following cases, an importer can claim abatement of duty. Abatement na, a part of duty will be given to you as like discount because your goods are damaged. Okay. So goods pilfered na, small quantity theft. Their abatement is not given. Remission of duty is only given. I mean, to that extent you will not pay duty. Goods damaged by accident due to negligence. So no abatement. Goods destroyed in accident while being removed from the warehouse after clearance for home consumption. Sir, after clearance for home consumption, then only there is like rebate. I mean, you can ask for refund only, not abatement. Okay, then what is the last one? Goods damaged by accident after unloading but before examination of assessment by customs authorities. So then abatement, I mean a part discount kind of can be given from duty. Then under FTP, the short form ITCHS refers to Indian Trade Classification of Harmonized System. ITC means not input tax credit. Indian Trade Classification of Harmonized System. Then for 2-star status holder, what should be the export performance? 15 million. Okay, 15 million should be made. Okay, 15 million should be made. Then which of the following privileges are granted to status holders? Sir, this is as per old FTP actually, this question. But considering the new FTP 2023, this is CON, input and output norms. They said like it has to be fixed on priority, not 7 days. Okay. Then exemption from bank guarantee is there even now also. 2-star and above are permitted to establish export warehouse. And many authorizations and clearances are given on self-declaration basis only. So now considering FTP 2023, if instead of this 7, if it is priority, then option C should be the correct answer. Okay. If this is 7, then option C should be the correct answer. Okay. Not 2 and 4. Understand? Then the current limit of 1 lakh per annum for duty-free import of samples is enhanced to 3 lakhs. The limit for samples is now how much? 3 lakhs. Then can trading units can start under EOU, HTP, STP, BTP? No. No. So that's the answer. So with this, we have successfully completed this MCQs session. I hope you'll get 15 out of 15. Okay, all the 30 marks you should get from these MCQs. I wish it should happen. Thank you all.